It's a non-conference battle to end the regular season as Gateway square off looking for a resume-building win, while Hempfield wants a victory on senior night. Welcome you to Spartans Stadium on the campus of Hempfield High School in Greensburg, Pennsylvania for a non-conference battle as the Hempfield Spartans take on the Gateway Gators here on Gateway Gators Productions. Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Alongside of me, Nate Breisinger, I'm Spencer Witt, filling in for Adam Gusky and Vince Russo. Nate, this isn't necessarily a win that will show on the resumes for both of these, or show on the stats for both of these teams going into playoff potential, but for Gateway, this is actually a bigger game than you realize.
Yeah, there's more at stake than meets the eye, exactly what you said, Spencer, with especially the WPIAL going with more of a committee approach for the final three wildcard teams in some of these conferences, and exactly in 5A. Gateway looking a little bit on the outside in right now at the playoff picture, needing some things to fall their way, but they can only control what they can control, and that starts tonight with Hempfield.
Of course, Gateway with a victory last week over Latrobe. It was a must-win for both of those sides to have a playoff potential still on the year. Gateway, of course, were the eventual victors. They did not score a point in the second half against the Wildcats last week, against Latrobe. But the standings are a little bit interesting. Right now, the 1, 2, and 3 seeds are kind of situated as the 1 and 2 guaranteed. The 3 is between 3 different teams. You can take a look at your standings here. Woodland Hills at 5-0, Penn Trafford 4-1. Those 2 are guaranteed to make it. Then it gets a little more interesting. Kiski, Gateway, and Armstrong, all 3 of them kind of have chances here in this last third and final spot in the Big East Conference. Now, the interesting thing is that Kiski is taking on Woodland Hills tonight. Armstrong is taking on Franklin Regional. If Kiski wins, they are in. They should be able to get in over Woodland Hills. If Armstrong wins, the Riverhawks will have the advantage over Gateway, but there is, of course, 3 wild card spots in the standings for the 5A WPIAL playoffs. Gateway with a victory here. You know, we were talking pregame. It's a resume-building win. Hindsight is 20/20, number 1, but number 2, you know, recency bias is a big thing. If you beat a team in 6A like Hempfield, you get yourself a victory over a solid team like the Spartans to show the committee that you have what it takes to make those playoffs.
Exactly, and if you look back at Gateway's start to the season, 3 non-conference losses, and one of those being to a 6A team in North Allegheny, losing 41-0. So to end your season beating a 6A team would be huge, and obviously put a lot of word in there for that committee to help try and put you in. But as we talked about, things are stacked kind of against Gateway right now in terms of the Big East Conference and potentially clinching that 3rd spot.
We'll give you updates throughout the evening here on some of the matchups that are important for that one. And for Hempfield, real quick on the other side, this is a team, you know, struggled year in and year out, unfortunately, in 6A. They're a solid team, but it's just 6A is tough. They started the year 4-2, have lost their last 3 games, and to have those struggles, but there's 12 seniors on this team for the Spartans. To get a victory on senior night, you know how important it is to play potentially your last football game ever.
Yeah, and it all starts with the quarterback, Dom Dittroff, that he has thrown for 1,900-plus yards this year, 18 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Has fixed that ratio a little bit. Last year was pretty even in that category. And then Brock Heisler, the 2-way lineman, that's their big guy for Hempfield this year, the Harvard commit. So trying to go out with a stamp and a mark on this Hempfield program. And you talk about the struggles this year, 1-5 in conference play, but at home they're 3-1, Hempfield. So they've had the home field advantage cooking a little bit. Last year was kind of the reverse where they weren't as good at home. So looking to continue that trend to finish things off here.
Their only victory on the year was, or in conference I should say, was a victory over Cannon Mac earlier this year. Hempfield will kick off. It'll be the sophomore Christina Schrumpf who will kick off for the Spartans. Schrumpf will send this forward, and we're underway here in this one. It's a short kick, but a good bounce for the Spartans, taken by number 2 for Gateway. That's Terrence Cole, but Cole is going to be stood up at the 15-yard line. You actually give him to the 19, but now, right off the gate, already a penalty.
A little chippiness to get things going here. Obviously, Gateway wants to try to set the tone offensively with this first drive with the freshman, Mason Mitchell, who has come in and played pretty well for these Gators. Seems like they found a quarterback for the future, 1,655 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. and obviously getting that big win last week against Greater Latrobe to sort of right the ship a little bit after losing a couple games in a row. 3, in fact, in conference play.
Personal foul against Hempfield. I believe the referee said number 8. We'll take a look here. This is the replay. And you see there's the stop there. Yeah, that's number 8 who was the first one to get there, Riley Evans. And then I think Evans is going to get called here for throwing down the returner, Terrence Cole. And that's what's going to be the penalty. So move it up a little bit more at the 34-yard line now for the Gators. As Mason Mitchell, the freshman, in the shotgun for Gateway. 3 wide receivers to his right. And a man behind him as well. Man in motion now is Sean Moorfield Jr. The give to Moorfield. He goes to the left. Breaks it by a couple defenders, but gets stopped only about 2 yards on that one. We had to work for those 2 yards for the Gators. Brock Heisler was the one on that one for the Spartans.
Braden Gerst also one of the first guys in there, but getting that ball out early on the ground to the playmaker. Sean Moorfield's been electric all year long. Missed the first couple of games with an injury, had a torn Achilles coming out of the spring that he suffered on in 7v7 ball. So since he's returned, put up some big numbers, 54 receptions on the year, 783 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he'll be a factor in both the ground and passing game.
False start on Gateway. I believe it was Roberson Louis June who got called. I thought that's what the ref said, 55, but don't want to necessarily knock him if it wasn't him. But regardless, it's still a false start on Gateway. So they'll move a little bit farther back now. As the give to the left side on the halfback screen. And a nice couple of yards there for Julian Dancier.
Dancier making some improvements throughout the year as you see the quick little dump off. Tristan Houston was the main guy to start the year in the backfield, but Dancier's come along well. The junior, 5'11", 185 pounds, 482 yards on the season.
Yeah, both these teams kind of have a similar story in the sense that injuries have plagued both the Gators and the Spartans this season. There were Spartan folks that were talking about all the injuries they've had earlier this year. Down they go, the sack, the strip sack, and it's recovered by Hempfield. Anthony Corello's the one who will recover it for the Spartans, but basically unblocked top of your screen there. It's Xavier Smith who takes down the quarterback.
Yeah, Xavier Smith in a hurry off that edge. You could see that play developing for a while there. He was coming in untouched. Mason Mitchell never felt him from the backside there. Xavier Smith, the junior, coming in.
So the turnover now in good field position for the Spartans. Dom Dietroff, and it's to the left side this time for Aiden Steinbeiser, and Steinbeiser gets maybe a yard or so on that one for a second down now. Actually, direct snap to Steinbeiser. 2nd and 9 now here in this one. Steinbeiser, another direct snap to him, and he goes down, nowhere to go on this one. Still was up for a minute, but he actually loses yards there as well. I believe the 4th or 5th guy. I mean, half the Gateway Gators defensive line was there. Pick your poison as to who gets credit for this tackle.
Yeah, credit to that front 7 of Gateway staying patient, just waiting for that play to develop a little bit. And Houston in there, first guy in there for Gateway. Some mob tackling there for the Gators.
3rd and 17 now. In the shotgun. Dropping back is Dietroff. Dietroff down. He's going to go as well. Another sack for the Gators. And I believe the first one to get there was Wendell Hall. Another look at it here. Wendell Hall gets around the edge there and takes down the quarterback. And now that might even force the punt unit out. So really good field position for Hempfield, but they actually lose so many yards. They bring out the punt unit now for the Spartans.
It's the defenses that come out punching first. Both front units of Hempfield and Gateway coming in with some big plays. Wendell Hall off the edge as well.
The Aussie-style kick there for the punter, just kind of running to the side, and it's a good one, too, down at the 5-yard line. Nice punt there for Carden Lippman, the junior for the Spartans. And now Gateway will have to work on offense for the second time this evening, of course, after losing the strip sack there on their first drive. This time, though, they'll be back at their 5-yard line, give them maybe even 6 if you want to be generous, but still deep in their own territory here.
And it's interesting because we've seen the defense is obviously flashing early here in this one, but historically this matchup, it's been the offensive high scoring. I mean, these two teams averaged 71 points per game over the last 3 meetings. High scoring. Last year, Hempfield won 41-21, but then the previous 2 meetings, Gateway hung 60 both times.
That one wide open down the middle, and a nice grab for number 3 for Gateway. Sean Moorfield Jr. is going to grab that one, first down for the Gators. That's a good offensive play there to get them out of deep their own territory.
Yeah, a little bit interesting play call to go and throw it here on first down right around the 5, but the route was open. Moorfield, again, the excellent playmaker.
Really nice route there, kind of a stop and go. He stopped about 5 yards, had the man coverage, and then just went as well. Pressure in the backfield, and down the quarterback goes. There were several players there. Braden Gerst and Anthony Corello were both there for the Spartans, and you see flying in on your screen there. That's Corello.
Yeah, and I was just going to follow up that last play for Gateway, the great protection they had because your quarterback's in the end zone, but he had about 4 seconds to throw. Now Hempfield dials up the blitz, brought 6 there, and they got home in a hurry.
Yeah, nothing the quarterback, Mason Mitchell, could do there other than tuck and pray.
Yeah, that time you got to hold on to the football. Obviously, he learned that from that first hit he took.
Mitchell drops back, going to air this one. Nice ball over the top, but couldn't find his intended target. Sean Moorfield Jr. had a couple steps on his defender, but now it'll bring up third down here for the Gators.
Yeah, nice little route here for Moorfield. Kind of stopped up right in the middle there and then took off to extend that play, extend that route there for Moorfield. And Mitchell just unable to come up and connect with him.
This is a Gateway Gators team last week that scored 27 points in the first quarter, or first half, I should say, against Latrobe. Gave up a safety, a kick return off of the initial safety for a touchdown, and then also 2-point conversion, but just not enough for Latrobe. As this one picked off, double coverage, and it's picked off and going to the end zone, into the corner, touchdown for the Spartans. Jack Kopis, the senior, with the pick 6. And the Spartans scoring first here.
Kopis just hanging out up high. Looked like zone coverage up top for the safety. And that's easy pickings for him. I mean, Mitchell, not a great pass to put in there. Try to force it a little double coverage. Kopis comes up, and Hempfield is on the board.
Now the over-the-top coverage there. Kopis just reading that one like a Dr. Seuss book. Just too easy. Extra point attempt here for the Spartans is good. So the kick good for number 9, Sawyer Luthold. Place kicker for the Spartans, who, fun fact, had a goal against Gateway earlier this year on the soccer team. I was actually on the call of that one over at Ante Marina Stadium at Gateway High School. Spartans won that one to clinch themselves a playoff position, actually, in the fall sports. Let's look at the pick 6 here. Like you said, just too easy pickings there, I should say, for Jack Kopis.
It's been all defense so far. 2 forced turnovers for Hempfield. This time, converting, capitalizing on the opportunity. That last one, I'm sure they'd like to have points at least off of that one. But credit Gateway's defense, holding them at bay and forcing them to punt. So now if you're Gateway early on in here, you got to make sure, Mason Mitchell, just shrugs those 2 off. Can't let those 2 seep too far in.
This one will bounce all the way back into the end zone. And really interesting thing to note here, the last 17 points given up by the Gators have not been given up from the offense scoring for the opponents. It's been a kick return, 2-point conversion, and a safety. And then a pick 6 here. That was, of course, the last weekend against Latrobe. And then a pick 6 here against Hempfield. So the offense for Gateway, unfortunately, has just been stalled right now. But the defense, to their credit, has been doing their job. It's just the special teams and the offense that really need to get going here for Gateway. But fresh set of downs right here, and only 7-0 if you're Gateway. You just got to shake it off, I think.
Yeah, I think you got to do this right here. Give it to Dancier a little bit. Moorfield, keep it on the ground a couple of snaps here until you get a little bit closer to midfield.
Going to get 7 yards on that one. It was number 4, yeah, Xavier Smith, first one to get to the running back for the Gators.
And Dancier, that's 7 yards for him, and he's averaging about 5.1 per carry, so that's about what's expected from him. Just pick up these chunk yards.
The fake and pressure and having to get rid of that one. Incomplete. It was a low throw, but again, more pressure on the quarterback. Another look at it here. They bring the blitz basically uncovered. Was Riley Evans there. Julian Dancier never picked up that block, looked to his left, and unfortunately Evans was to his right, so that forced the quarterback for Gateway, Mason Mitchell, to have to throw that one.
A little low on that one, and you had that solo coverage on the outside. Stammer then tries to go inside of Terrence Vaughns, who was in coverage, but pretty soft coverage there.
3rd and 3 now for Gateway. Feels like an important first down. New quarterback in here as the fake give, and now up to the left side, and that's going to be a first down and more for Moorfield. We'll go to the 30, the 20, the 10, one to beat, touchdown. The direct snap to Moorfield as he shushes the band, and it's now a touchdown for the Gators and a much-needed one. Another look at this one, the direct snap. Fakes the give to Dancier and Moorfield, who had gotten so many yards so far in this one. Able to break it out to the left. Good blocking upfield as well, and it was just one man to beat. And the speed for Moorfield.
And it seemed like Moorfield there, too, on the give was a little slow on the fake and keeping it and pulling that one. Dancier, and I think maybe that's what froze the Hempfield defense just enough, and then there was a wide open hole up that left side of the offensive line, and Moorfield again, he gets into open space. He has the wheels to that breakaway speed that you look for. And right there, 73 yards.
Jackson Michelandrix, the soccer player, will be on for the extra point for the Gators. Mitchell, the holder here. Extra point attempt. Blasts that one through, and we got a tie ball game now with the response there for the Gators.
And it really wouldn't feel like that either with the way the Hempfield defense came out and the mistakes early from Gateway, but hey, that's what Gateway can do. They're explosive. They can get you on these big chunk plays, and they do it here with Moorfield. You know, arguably one of the top playmaker receivers in the Big East Conference. And you see there, again, there's that little, the way he pulled that seemed like maybe, some confusion for the defense there, and then there he goes, just outracing everyone.
It's a dual threat with Dancier and Moorfield, of course. You have that feeling it's going to be a run. It's just a matter of who do you commit to, and really well executed there from the Gators.
And credit the play call, too. 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you keep Mitchell out there, but they take him out, put 2 great playmakers in the backfield. And, yeah, you got to watch both of those guys. You got to commit to one of them.
So the kickoff for the Gators. It's a low shot collected by Hempfield. And they'll get stopped right about the 20-yard line, but that looked like it was farther in than normal. They were on the Hempfield 45, so I believe there might have been a penalty against Hempfield at the end of that extra point to force this kickoff at the Hempfield 45.
Yeah, short kick, and now Hempfield's got to work all the way down the field. The first time today that we're looking down the right side of the field. Been watching mainly from this left side. in Gateway territory.
Just a couple possessions for both teams. We've seen a pick six. We've seen at least 70-plus yard run. So, if you like barn burners, seems like that's where you're going right now with this one. We'll see how the Spartans respond. The fake, looking to his left and instead taking it himself, is the quarterback, Dietrich. And Dietrich gets a handful of yards there, maybe about 5 on first down.
And just like Mitchell, Dietrich can run it with his legs as well, as you see here, over 240 rushing yards on the season already. He's put up quite the career for Hempfield as well, breaking school records earlier this year versus Norwin, passing yards and touchdowns. Over 4,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns now.
Yeah, you and I are both talking as Dietrich gets maybe a couple yards there on that one. This is a Hempfield team that, on paper, they're a good team, but their conference is just so tough. North Allegheny, Central Catholic, Mount Lebanon. I mean, it's such a tough conference to play in. I think if they're playing, obviously the numbers matter, of course, how many kids you have in your school dictate what conference level you can be, or at least the highest you can be. So if they played at a 5A level, I think this would be a solid team. I think this is a playoff team, especially for Hempfield. It's just the fact that they struggled in conferences. The fake into the right side actually looked like a high snap, and Dietrich had to take it himself, but instead there's just nowhere to go. Dietrich's brought down. Plethora of Gators there. And now we've got fourth down, and the punt unit we back out for the Spartans.
And following up to that point about Hempfield and just the conference that play in, and it's the perfect example. You look at the beginning of their season this year. 3 non-conference wins. North Hills, Franklin Regional, Kiski, and a couple like opponents between Gateway and Hempfield. And Gateway only beat Kiski 34-31 by 3 points. So that just goes to show that Hempfield, maybe in a different section, could really thrive. But big school in a tough conference.
Out here in Westmoreland County, Greensburg, PA. Beautiful campus here at Spartan Stadium here. As we take a look at the Quad County Conference, Central Catholic, North Allegheny. I mean, if you know WPIAL football, you know they're always good. Norwin, a good year this year, 3-2. Cannon Mac, the only victory Hempfield has this year is over the Big Macs. Mount Lebanon struggling this year, and Seneca Valley, the Raiders, with a 1-4 record as well.
And right there, Lebo and Cannon Mac fighting for that final and 4th playoff spot in the classification.
Yeah, 4 teams making it out of 6A. Down the middle, that one complete. The cut back up and taken down. Sean Moorfield Jr., who has had a night so far. We're only halfway through the first.
Yeah, just setting up the play action here. Mason Mitchell's been very deceptive at that. The play action passes and hitting Moorfield. Moorfield took a lick there, too. Had to hold on to that one.
I like the deception there. Riley Evans, the defensive back, had to stay home. He couldn't commit to one or the other. There was a wide receiver who was left because Mitchell was looking that way as well, and he was able to find Moorfield right behind him once he got to his spot. First down, Mitchell, the halfback screen. It's intercepted. The big fella, John Michael Landa, with the interception on the halfback screen. One hand just snagging that one and pulling it down. What a nice play there.
A broken play there indeed, and there you go. 3 turnovers now for Gateway. You got the 1 explosive touchdown, but that's been the story, and we're not even through the first quarter so far. Hempfield coming up with another turnover, now looking to turn it into even more points, but J.M. Landa right there. Johnny on the spot. Got some pressure from Heisler.
That one short on first down, and intended receiver Dominic Dietrich. There is a flag on the play, though. Another look here. Actually, that was for Muchler, the wide receiver, the intended target. Dom Granada and Brock Heisler were both ineligible downfield. So now 1st and 15, or, well, the scoreboard says 1st and 15, but it looks like they declined it. As of now, they're still at the same marker. And 2nd and 10 here for Hempfield. And if you're the Spartans, I think you need to start capitalizing on these turnovers. You got to get some offense at least going here just to really prove a point against this Gator team that this offense can be dangerous early on here. Dietrich drops back, tosses it out to the right side. Just trying to get upfield, but cannot. Is the running back for the Spartans, Aiden Steinbeiser. Ones that hauls that in, but first guy there, Houston, excuse me, for the Gators. Now it's 3rd and 10. And someone jumped there, depending on who it was. And the refs are moving it up, so it's going to be an encroachment on Gateway. So 5-yard penalty there. Bigger penalty than you think here.
Yeah, it makes that a little bit easier for Hempfield to try to convert here, but haven't had much luck doing so. Already punting the ball away once on 3rd down after 3rd down.
Dropping back here, 3rd and 4. Plenty of time in the backfield. The fake pitch, now he's going to throw this one down the field, cutting that back and hauling it in for the first down. It's number 1, Troy Sebring for the Spartans. 5'7", the junior wide receiver.
Dietrich really letting this play develop a little bit more and more, a little improv here from Dietrich, but he had a guy here right along the sideline here wide open, but looks him off and then finally finds Sebring break open downfield. So excellent eyes downfield there by Dietrich.
Out to the left side now and taken down for maybe a handful of yards there was the running back Steinbeiser, but real quick, really good pass protection that last play there for Hempfield as well.
And when you have such a long play going like that, more often than not, at this level especially, you see a flag come out just because someone's going to end up holding on that play. So, yeah, credit that protection up front and the blocking, keeping that alive for Dietrich. 2nd
and 8 now, man in motion, but they give Steinbeiser. Steinbeiser cuts it upfield and gets to the secondary there, but about 2 yards short of the first down now for the Spartans, but they're in deep in Gateway territory, which is a good sign for this Spartans team.
Steinbeiser, a little bit of that bounce there, as you mentioned, Spencer, just jumping around.
Got a timeout now for Gateway.
And for Steinbeiser on the year, came into this one, 535 yards on the ground on 131 carries, averaging right around 60 per game. But Hempfield, a little bit of a balanced offense. Very similar to Gateway. These two teams' offensive style is very, very similar. A little spread and balanced approach. Big difference, though, offensively is the two quarterbacks, Dietrich, a senior, and Mitchell, a freshman. Dietrich, as we talked about, breaking some school records earlier this year. 18 passing touchdowns on the year, 10 interceptions.
Just to give a quick update, Kiski and Woodland Hills are still scoreless in quarter number 1 there, but Woodland Hills at the Kiski 20-yard line. And actually, they just crossed the end zone as I say that. So for the touchdown there for Woodland Hills to score first. We talked about the standings. We talked about it. So there are 3 sections. 3 teams make it in each section. That's a guarantee. There are then 3 wild cards that are picked. Wild cards are based on the committee. There's no necessarily statistic to say which team would make it and which wouldn't. So it's all just a matter of what your records look like and what your games look like, especially late in the season. Do you prove that you are a WPIAL playoff caliber team? And that's what the Gators are trying to prove here. Steinbeiser pulled down there. Now it's 4th down, 3rd and 2, and they didn't get it. They're trying to get up to the line quickly here. Hempfield trying to draw Gateway off sides, it looks like, but we'll see if they can get him off sides or if they call a timeout. No, they take the snap instead. Dropping back, plenty of pressure, trying to cut upfield, not going to be able to. Just trying to get back anywhere with it, but it's several Gators on that one. Wendell Hall is going to get credit for the tackle, but also Monte Lemon over there for the Gators. Big turnover on downs for the Spartans.
And the first read there, credit to the secondary. And I believe Jaden Stammer in coverage here on the near side as Dietrich was looking for Lucas Simmons, and he was defended very closely, and Simmons never really looked either back for the ball. So Dietrich, his first read was taken, and then that pressure got to him.
Real quick, are you a little surprised that they didn't go for the points there?
I mean, it's a deep field goal, so in short yardage situations, so I think, you talk about the analytics. I think at that point in the field, and you never know high school kickers, you go for it there. I mean, short yardage, but I'm surprised the play that they did call there.
My biggest pet peeve in high school football, it's 4th and 2. Why are you in shotgun?
Yeah.
You're now setting up at 4th and 6 because you're 4 yards back or 3 yards back.
Exactly. I think the play calling could have been a little bit better on that play instead of trying to look one read in solo coverage, but it was defended well by Gateway. And then, like we said, that pressure, just Gateway's front getting home.
Wildcat again, and Moorfield goes out to the left side, trying to break it out, cuts it back in. Almost got by 3 defenders there, but the second defender is able to get to him. Only a couple yards on that one, about 5 for Moorfield. See Moorfield using his own blockers to try and carve out a path there. Third down now for Gateway, and the 5 yards to gain for the line of scrimmage. The final 30 seconds of quarter number 1.
Moorfield, you see rocking the Auburn towel, showing some love to some of the college programs. Heisler, we talked about Brock Heisler on the D end. Defensive side for Hempfield, going to Harvard. Kyan and Bandy, Bucknell commit. So a couple guys going D1 here.
The screen here this time for the Gators. It's Bates. Bates is going to be stopped short. Another look at it here. And really good job there. The first guy to get to him, that's the guy that stopped everything there. That was Braden Gerst. Gerst was blocked, and he was the only guy over there in a blue jersey, but instead he's able to bounce off it, make the tackle, but now the fake. It's to the left side, top of your screen, and making some moves. Terrence Cole down the sideline. They faked out everybody. Go to the left instead. The old fumble-rooski.
Yeah, how about that call? You could see the way things were lined up. The O-line really wasn't, I don't know if they were really ever set there either, but, I mean, just confusion everywhere. And Cole breaks that one out. Great call there. Decision time there, 4th and 2. Wow, look at that play.
The old annexation of Puerto Rico. You're a little Giants fan here. Nice little move there for Terrence Cole. As the band fired up here, their final, of course, final regular season game for the Gateway Band. That brings us to the end of quarter number 1. 7 apiece between the Gators and the Spartans. 7 apiece here alongside of me. Nathan Brysinger, I'm Spencer Witt, filling in for Adam Gusky and Vince Russo. Final regular season broadcast, of course, here for Gateway Gators Productions. Here for the football season. They'll flip the field here this time as Gateway in enemy territory. And you see top of your screen, Mason Mitchell lined up as wide receiver, so they've got Wildcat with Sean Moorfield Jr. going to be taking the snap. They do give it over to the right side. Breaking it back over, Dan Sear. Dan Sear is able to just get some yardage out of that one after being stopped 10 yards in the backfield.
Yeah, got something out of nothing there. I mean, he was dead to rights here off this little inside hand. Boom, coming out there quickly for Hempfield, Jacob Morgan, but he can't wrap him up fully and gets maybe a yard here.
Now Mitchell, the freshman quarterback, will be taking the snap here. Dan Sear in the backfield, Do we ride receivers to the right? They look right. Mitchell does. Can't do anything with that one. Down he goes. The sack there. Riley Evans is all over him. Untouched again for the Spartans. Seems like the third or fourth time now that a guy's just been in the backfield without a single finger of a Gateway player touching him.
Yeah, a little unique design there. Cornerback blitz. It's been the play calling, the dialing up the blitzes that has really created some havoc and chaos for this Gateway offensive line, and just no one in the vicinity to help out and try to get a chip or a block there for Mitchell.
The fake here, 3rd and 17, and that one incomplete. Intended for Sean Moorfield Jr., but there were a couple of Spartans there. They were able to make the contact and not let him haul that one in.
Yeah, and you got to figure that Hempfield's watching Moorfield real closely here. You see dragging along the linebacker there and then into a little bit of some risky business there. Got to be careful. Again, we saw Mitchell throw that interception a little bit earlier. Jack Kopis in the area.
Yeah, felt the footsteps of Kopis there. Might have been the reason to not haul that one in. So Michelandrich will be back to punt this one away for the Gators. 4th and 17 here. It's a high snap. Michelandrich is able to haul it in, though, and send this punt end over end. Drops down at the 14-yard line. Not a bad punt for Michelandrich. Keeps him in the coffin corner.
Yeah, now we're playing a little bit of the field position game. After those 2 early scores in the first quarter and a couple turnovers, now these teams going back and forth. Couple of fourth down opportunities, trying to go for it. Gateway obviously converting, but unable to cap off that drive with any sort of points after the big trickery play that picked up a big chunk of yards for Cole.
The direct snap here this time for the Spartans. Not able to get anywhere on that one. Maybe a yard or two for Hempfield. First guy there, I believe, was Roberson Louis June for the Gators.
I believe Jackson Smith also comes in here, gets off this block.
Correction, that was Jackson Smith, like you said.
Louis June, then, yeah.
Second guy to get there, Louis June.
Jackson Smith, we saw him in at quarterback a little bit earlier this year, but now back to his primary spot, playing middle linebacker. Missed a couple of games. At least missed the Armstrong game the last time I was on the call. So Smith back in the lineup, obviously important for the Gators. One of their important captains on the defense right there in the middle of things.
The direct snap there to Aiden Steinbeiser. Nothing doing on that one. And a 3rd and 2. We get a stoppage here. We got a timeout from the Spartans. They want to talk things over using their second timeout. I should say their first timeout, the second one of the half so far between the both sides. Gateway took a timeout earlier, so 2 timeouts remaining for each team. Is, we're talking about this conference. We're talking about 5A. We take a look at the Allegheny 6 conference. Peters Township 9-0. The team really to beat in 5A. Moon, those Tigers, don't sleep on them. They had a very big victory over Upper St. Clair last week. Puts Upper St. Clair at 2-2. Bethel Park, that's a team that I think should make it. A 6-3 record in a really tough conference. I think Bethel Park will be a wild card. South Fayette has an argument to be made if they beat Upper St. Clair tonight that they could be that final spot in. And then, of course, we have to mention it as alumni. Baldwin, of course, the final team there,
all
unfortunately.
The way down
there. 0-9 and 0-4. Unfortunately, would be the worst WPIAL team here this season, unfortunately. Just had to mention is, Adam Gusky called us the Baldwin Boys last week on the broadcast when he mentioned that we were both on the call. So obviously got to give the Fighting Highlanders our shout out. Is breaking this one out to the left side. Steinbeiser cuts it back, spins off a man. Back to the right side. Steinbeiser's got a block in front of him to the 10, taken down at the 6-yard line, but a big run for Steinbeiser, the senior for the Spartans.
Steinbeiser here probably breaking 4, 5, 6 tackles, at least 2 right there. And then credit Nazir Diggs, staying with it. Look, breaks a tackle there, Steinbeiser, and then he looks for the end zone. And Nazir Diggs is all the way back here, gets blocked, but he comes up with the finish here to bring him down. But now Hempfield knocking on the door. 1st and goal from the 6. What a run.
Steinbeiser is going to get called for a penalty for throwing the football after the run, so an unsportsmanlike, and that's going to push them a little bit farther back. Hempfield fans, of course, not happy with the call. Not necessarily because of the call, but because of the call. Interpret that how you will.
Steinbeiser maybe just letting that adrenaline take over there after full sprint there, after bumping off a couple tackles.
If anything, it gives him a little bit of a breather, just having to make the ref make that call. But the bad news, it does put them at the 21-yard line now instead of that 4-yard line. So dropping back, and we got another flag. I think it might be a false start. This is killing Hempfield right now. We'll see what the call is. Dominic Gianelli called for the false start, the freshman for Hempfield.
Well, this is where you see what this Hempfield offense is made of. You're behind the sticks, way behind the sticks here. Still 1st down, though, so you have the full set of downs. Try to come up with yards after yards. Get back towards the end zone.
Only 5 yards is the difference right now in the sticks, but yeah, you were at the 4-yard line at one point. Now you're going basically to the line of scrimmage again, but this time at the 25-yard line instead. The rush there from John Michael Landa, backup running back for the Spartans. A senior on this Hempfield squad.
Gateway defense, that defensive line's been getting hits in the backfield. Just got to be able to bring down the ball carrier. Bodzi was in there first, and then Wendell Hall able to clean things up. But got to make sure you're wrapping up, because we've seen it already with Steinbeiser being able to take off after receiving some contact.
Dropping back, throwing that one incomplete for Dom Dietrich. Intended target was Steinbeiser, and now sitting here at 3rd down and 14 for Hempfield. And again, a 7-7 game. You went from a chip shot, if you don't even get into the end zone, to now, with the penalties, you're not sitting at a field goal range right now, I don't think, at least based on what we saw the last couple drives where they were at about the same spot. But 3rd and 14, just trying to get some yardage here, see if they can get to the 1st downs, which is at the 9-yard line. Dietrich drops back, rolls out to his left, fakes at the line of scrimmage. He's in front of the line of scrimmage, I believe. There's a flag down anyway. In the backfield as well. We'll see what this is. Probably going to be a holding. I thought Dietrich threw that one in front of the line of scrimmage there, but we'll see what the calls are. So the penalty decline on a hold on the offense. Another look at it here. You're going to see right there, 72 for Hempfield. Patrick Mormon, you can't haul him down like that, especially from the side and from behind like that. And now it's 4th and 14. Dietrich drops back to pass. Needs some help. Dietrich taken down, had a man open on the far side of the field, but instead it's the Gators, Wendell Hall, taking him down, and a turnover on downs for the Spartans after getting to the 4-yard line on that run from Aiden Steinbeiser.
Man, what?
The unsportsmanlike and a false start have cost Hempfield so much here to try and take that lead.
It was such a promising drive there for the Spartans, but on that 4th down specifically there, curious decision obviously to go for it, but it seemed like that was going to be the case anyways. As we see, there's the other. This is the big run.
Yeah, this is Steinbeiser here. Watch on your screen. He's going to get called throwing the ball into the air. You can kind of throw it down if you want. You can't throw it up. That's the thing that the referees are going to call you for.
Especially at that point where you're not even in the end zone. If that's
Yeah.
a touchdown, okay, you take the penalty on the kick, but when you're trying to score and you're still not even in the end zone yet, that's killer there. And then you backed up again with another penalty, and third down, you got the holding call. So just a mess overall for Hempfield offensively. Really puts a hurting on them, and then Gateway able to collapse that pocket enough and get Dietroff a little happy feet, and then Wendell Hall in there to bring him down on that fourth down.
The rush from Dan Sear there really got nothing, maybe a yard. The halfback screen, or wide receiver screen, I should say, and Mason Mitchell took a shot in the backfield here. Incomplete. Another look to his left. Second guy is to his right, and he almost didn't have enough time there. Just able to get that one off. Now it's 3rd and 9. Really quickly turned into a 3rd down here for Gateway.
And again, it's been the story of the game, these defenses. I mean, other than that one big Moorfield play for the explosive touchdown for Gateway, it's been Hempfield's defense has just been everywhere, causing havoc, and then Gateway as well. Their defense is holding up, obviously getting some help from the penalty troubles from Hempfield offensively, but Hempfield's defense, I mean, they're calling some unique stuff, some exotic looks, bringing in defensive backs on blitzes here, and it's causing some issues for Mitchell here as a young freshman.
Timeout taken by Gateway. Don Hall and his squad will talk things over. So we take a look while we have a timeout. Let's go over the Northeast Conference. Pine Richland, one of the top teams, of course. Like, what else is new out of Pine Richland? Always a very good football team. Shaler, impressive for the Titans. They've turned their program pretty much around in a tough section. North Hills, a solid year for them, 3-2. Penny Hills, a year that they are not too happy about. Plum, the Mustangs, at 1-3. And Fox Chapel, they have a really good kicker, and unfortunately that's all they really have, with an 0-5 record and 2-7 in the Northeast. One of their only victories over Baldwin, of course, this year as well. Had to give that Baldwin mention again. But Pine Richland, Shaler, and it looks like North Hills will make it, potentially. Now it's a question of, does Penn Hills, do you put in Gateway? Do you put in Penn Hills? That's a really tough question that the committee will have to make if the scores stay the way that they are, and put Gateway in that potential final spot in the WPIAL. Again, the committee will discuss it this upcoming weekend here, as this one is caught. It's a catch for the Gators. Tyree Gowder with the grab. It's still not enough for the first down. It'll be 4th and 2. But it looks like Gateway will go for it here.
Yeah, it seems like anything here in the middle third of the field. Both of these teams are just comfortable enough to go for it on 4th down.
And it will be a direct snap. Moorfield Jr. has Dan Sear in the backfield. Mitchell's out wide. Moorfield, the fake reverse. He gets taken down. It's a big stop. John Michael Lando with the stop for the Spartans and a turnover on downs.
I like the idea here. Moorfield, you got a couple options here if you want to, the fake little reverse, but Hempfield all over it. Sniffs that one out quickly.
That's a really good job from Hempfield. John Michael Landis stays with the quarterback. There was a guy up top that would have been there for the reverse in case they do pitch it over to Jaden Stammer. So good job from Hempfield staying home and staying with their guys after getting beat on the old fumble Ruski last time on 3rd down, or 4th down I should say. Is now it's turnover on downs. They give up the middle, a couple yards there for the Spartans, and it was Steinbeiser with the rush. Senna Agbazi with the takedown. 2nd and 6, Steinbeiser, excuse me. Gets upfield and a couple more yards, but you 3 yards every play, you'll never lose. That's what my dad would always say.
Yeah, just picking up yards, little chunk after little chunk here for Hempfield. And again, you just got to stay away from those penalties. Got to stay disciplined up front because they're getting the good push for a majority of the time on the ground, at least.
3rd and 2 That one deflected, and it's knocked down. They were looking for the halfback screen, but the big reach there for Wendell Hall. All 6'4" of them got a piece of that one.
Yeah, Wendell Hall's got that big frame. Very noticeable every single game. You see him constantly involved, and he's just got that long wingspan to go up and make a play on that ball.
4th and 2, and Hempfield's going to go for it again. We saw one turnover on downs from the Gators. Can they do that to the Spartans here? In the shotgun now. Steinbeiser, they give up to him. He's going to get a couple yards, and is it enough for the first? I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a stop. Yes, it will be. So a turnover on downs. The halfback dive, and, I talk about it again. He's 5 yards behind the quarterback, and the quarterback's 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Play didn't develop enough, and Gateway was able to get there and stop Steinbeiser before the first down.
Yeah, that was mighty close. I mean, they were right there, probably only a couple inches off. And on the year coming into this one, Hempfield converting 44% of the time on 4th downs. So they've made it work a majority of the time, or close to half the time, but hasn't been very successful tonight so far for the Spartans. Just going back and forth, trading places basically between these two teams. A lot of 4th down attempts, not a lot of success.
This one downfield and caught by Moorfield Jr. wide open. He'll go into the end zone. There is a flag down on the field, and with the lack of celebration, you have to feel this one's coming back. Even the band is able to stop themselves halfway through their touchdown song, but an ineligible man downfield.
Oh, that's a backbreaker, too. It's not like it's a holding call or, hands to the face or anything like that. It's just alignment just a couple yards too far downfield.
Yep.
What is that? Who is that, Louis June?
Yeah, that's the center, Roberson Louis June there for the Gators. Just committed, engaged with a guy who was kind of sitting back as a Mike linebacker there, the spy, I should say. And you can't engage, 3 yards down the field. They're going to call you for ineligible man downfield. So that'll bring back the touchdown, negates the touchdown for the Gators. Now it's 1st and 15.
And Gateway caught a break there, too, with the Hempfield defensive back falling that left Moorfield wide open.
That one caught on the wide receiver screen. Up to the upfield to the right side. 1st down and more. Nice haul there for number 17, Tyree Gowder. Under 5 minutes here in the half. And Gowder gets the grab, and really nice blocking as well from a couple of Gators. The wide receivers getting in the blocking there for Gateway. And we got another flag here. How many flags have we had so far in this one? Head referee's going to lose his voice at the end of this game. Encroachment on Hempfield. We'll see who moved. It was lineman
Heisler, yeah.
55, Brock Heisler.
A lot of these calls have also, they've been easy calls to make for these referees. I mean, a lot of offsides, holdings.
This one caught down in the middle of the field. That's Moorfield Jr. He'll haul that one in between the hashes. A look at this one. Good 1st down and a really good game for Sean Moorfield Jr.
When this Gateway offense can be in rhythm and moving with those play action looks, it can be a very dangerous offense. And you see there Moorfield, more often than not, finds his way open in the middle of the field. Quick strike to him for a big 1st down.
Mitchell drops back, the screen pass, and taken down right near the 1st down marker. Julian Dancier. Got a gain of 9. 2nd and 1. Clock continues down, 3:30, but another look here. Offense opened up a little bit now for the Gators. They're kind of moving the ball. Problem is they've kind of sputtered right when they get to about the 30-yard line. If they are able to move it forward, we saw that big run from Moorfield earlier and didn't do anything on the old fumble Ruski attempt.
I think that was the first screen that actually was executed to perfection. The other one intercepted earlier on.
Into the end zone. That one caught for a touchdown. Who else? Sean Moorfield with the grab. One-on-one coverage. He beats his man and catches that one. And it's Gateway who takes the lead. Another look at it there. Just one-on-one coverage. Burns the defender. Carden Littman, who's going to remember that one for the rest of the night.
Yeah, got that inside leverage and then bounced right back out on that route towards the corner of the end zone. And more often than not, like we talked, Moorfield will be open for this Gateway offense, and Mitchell just finding his trusty receiver downfield.
Moorfield has both touchdowns for the Gators, 14-7 now. Another look on your screen. Into the corner of the end, or I should say right in front of the end zone. A nice little move there to cut in and then cut back out.
And you see there Hempfield trying to bring that pressure yet again. That time not able to get to Mitchell. And Mitchell just enough of that arm strength there to get it up and get it over Littman. And Moorfield had that about 3-4 yard separation.
When you have so many guys in the box and you bring so many on a blitz, it brings up one-on-one coverages outside. And I think 9 times out of 10, I'm taking Moorfield, who's such a great player, has so many good moves as a receiver. As long as you can get that ball out to him, he beats his man and in the end zone for the touchdown.
Exactly. And it seemed like earlier in this game that they were maybe doubling Moorfield a little bit, but when you bring that extra pressure, obviously you're taking a guy away from that, and like you said, Spencer, putting them in the box, and now you're putting a guy one-on-one on Moorfield, and he's going to beat you.
It's a squib kick, and if onside kick, I should say. Who has it? Gators think they've got it, and they do. The onside kick for the Gateway Gators. We've seen it all. We've seen fakes. We've seen onside kicks. Julian Dancier, I believe, was the one who recovered it, but another look.
Oh, just got that 10 yards, too.
Jackson Mikelandrich almost had it himself, but the good news was one of his teammates was there for it. And now, under 3 minutes here in the half, Gateway's got the ball back.
Gateway trying to leave it all on the line here tonight, putting everything out there. And at first look where that ball was initially stopped, I wasn't sure if they got the 10 yards, but obviously a clear look on the replay. What a call there for Gateway.
Rolling out to the right, throwing this one wide open, man. Moorfield again for the Gators. How do you leave them that wide open?
The touchdown play you can understand, but this one I'm just, this is a little confusing here. You see, just gets lost in coverage. Good call there. Those two outside receivers cutting in there. And a little delayed, slow developing play there for Moorfield where he sort of cuts in on a little in route and then reverses it and heads back out towards the sidelines, and Mitchell finds him wide open.
Saw Anthony Corello in coverage there for Hempfield, and he's kind of the soft underneath coverage and was expecting someone to be over there. No one was for Hempfield. I think one of the defensive backs just kind of dragged back with the other wide receiver that was running out there, leaving Moorfield wide open on the right side. Looked like Jamar Chase against the Steelers earlier a couple weeks ago.
Indeed it did, man. Just feeding him the ball, and that's what they kind of do here. And it's interesting because Gateway has a lot of different receivers, different playmaker receivers too. We talked about Cole and Gowder and Jaden Stammer. We haven't even talked about the tight end Casey Carter this game, but it's Moorfield. I mean, this offense, it goes through Moorfield more often than not. Just such a playmaker, electrifying. He's up there and rivals Scoop Smith in this Big East Conference for one of the top playmakers.
Mitchell looking for some help, tries to weave around a couple guys, but hauled down. Xavier Smith was the guy who got to him.
Yeah, just a little too long for Mitchell there on that play fake, and then he tries to step up there and nothing doing there for Mitchell.
You got Mitchell out wide. Moorfield in the backfield with Dan Sear. 14-7 Gateway, 2 minutes remaining here in half number 1. Alongside of me, Nathan Brysinger, I'm Spencer Witt. Moorfield. They'll give the reverse back. And that's Stammer. Stammer breaks one tackle, breaks a second. Gets positive yardage there. Actually, no, he didn't get positive yardage, but almost did. Had to go back 2 yards, but he was in danger of losing about 7 there.
So there was a similar play as we saw a little bit earlier where Moorfield took it and faked the reverse. This time they do give it off to Stammer. And Xavier Smith was in there in a hurry. Misses the first tackle, but comes up with the great recovery there to get up and continue and finish off that play for the tackle.
It's interesting. I think that the Gators were taken down about the 9-yard line, so now it's 3rd and goal as it's at the 17 now for Gateway. A timeout taken by Don Nall.
So really for both of these teams offensively, once they've snuck into the red zone, nothing has really gone right for them. Hempfield obviously, Steinbeiser getting down there with within the 5. And you back all the way up with a bunch of penalties. Here you go again, Moorfield offensively for Gateway, getting down there in really, really prime scoring position. And now you're going backwards. It's been the interception, the pick 6, points for Hempfield, and then 2 big explosive plays for Gateway.
14-7. Moorfield has both touchdowns for the Gators. This game started with 2 turnovers in the first 3 possessions. It was a strip sack for Hempfield and a pick 6 that also resulted in their points, but Gateway has had 14 straight since. Mitchell drops back 3rd and goal, looks over double coverage, couldn't thread the needle to get that one to Moorfield. It'll be 4th down now.
And there's that double look that I had mentioned, just running right up into that safety help. And Mitchell just trying to squeeze it in there.
Now the kicking unit will be out here for the Gators, although with everything they've done today, not 100% certain that it will be a field goal. You never know at this point, but Mikulandrich will be back. Be about a 35-yard field goal for Mikulandrich. That one is up, and it is through the uprights. So Mikulandrich adds on here. It'll be 17-7. As the scoreboard's able to add that one in there with 1:14 remaining here in the first half. But it was this onside kick attempt. And you see, like you said, Mikulandrich just able to get there right at the 50-yard line. Dan Sear was the one who actually was able to pull it down for the Gators, but it results in points for this Gateway squad.
Gateway trying to pull out all the stops. A couple different gadget trickery plays that they're trying to run. A couple of those, fake reverse haven't really worked, but then the onside kick works. The little sneak out of the backfield for about 20, 30 yards. Worked to perfection. But Gateway just getting points, entering the red zone there, getting red zone points for the Gators. Now you go up by 10. I believe Hempfield will take the ball to start the second half. So
they will.
Spartans trying to double up here if they can.
They have 1 timeout remaining, and the kickoff will be pulled in by the Spartans, but pulled down right at the 25-yard line for Hempfield. 68 seconds remaining here in the first half. A look at it there. Julian Danseer on the tackle.
We'll see how much Hempfield really wants to push it downfield. Again, not a ton of time left. You want to be careful here and not give the ball back to Gateway either with good field positioning, not turn over the ball.
Gateway does have 2 of their timeouts. Dietrich in the backfield. Steinbeiser with him. Steinbeiser rolls out to his left. Dietrich tries to put that one to his wide receiver. Couldn't haul that one a little behind the intended target. And that was Troy Sebring who was trying to pull that one in, but a little behind him. Clock stops at 1:04, so it took 4 seconds off.
And when looking at this Hempfield offense tonight, we really haven't called the name Jack Kopis a whole lot. You know, he had, I believe,
he had the interception, the pick six, but haven't heard him on offense.
He's their leading receiver. Came into this game 6 receptions shy from the Hempfield school record.
Dietrich rolls out. That one pulled in by number 10. That's Henry Mutchler. Mutchler with the first down.
He took a shot here, too.
He did. Watch it on your screen again here.
Right at the top.
He's wide open, signaling for it, too. Yeah, he was open earlier on the 4th down earlier, never got it.
And then Diggs coming in.
He bounced off that one to his credit, though. Clock continues to roll, though. 43 seconds. Dietrich throws that one. It's complete. A first down and a grab there for number 3, Jack Kopis, who almost on cue. Maybe one play short of the cue, but
and a big chunk there, about 15, 20 yards.
Clock starts after moving the chains and setting them up. 30 seconds remaining. Dietrich scans his options, steps up, tries to get to his left, rolls off him, still on his feet, throwing this one down the field. He's got a man. Caught for the touchdown, Lucas Simmons.
Unreal.
A much-needed touchdown for the Spartans before the halftime. Another look at it, and credit to Dom Dietrich to stay on his feet. Monte Lemon had him in the backfield, but he was able to stay on his feet in stride, throw that one to a wide-open Lucas Simmons.
That's like Johnny Manziel-esque, you know, fighting off a couple of tacklers. You know, it was funny because earlier in that play, the receiver off to the left side, like, quit on the route as obviously, I mean, the look was on the right side of the field, and he's looking off to the left, and you can hear some yelling from the bench that, like, hey, move your feet, because this play's not over. And Dietrich extending the play, unreal, able to stay up there on his feet and then locate Simmons. You see to the top of your screen here, the Hempfield receiver just sort of slowly going, and now he's looking his way. Now he has to try to break open, but nothing's there. And then finally, once that happens, seems like maybe the Gateway defense quit a little bit, and Simmons is wide open for the touchdown.
Simmons gets the touchdown for the Spartans. Just his 14th reception on the year, but he has the 5th touchdown. Just his 2nd on the team in touchdowns, actually, for Hempfield.
He's found the end zone often. Again, another receiver that we haven't really talked about a whole lot tonight. And there he is, coming up with a huge play here with time dying here in this first half. The 6'3", 150-pounder. A big target, too, at that.
Final 10 seconds here as Gateway will be tripped up in the backfield. In the backfield on the return, I should say. Terrence Cole, the one who had that one. He was tripped up by Ty Hughes. So 11 seconds, you don't think.
Yeah, you just put this one in your back pocket. I mean, obviously you take that shot there on that touchdown play.
But what a backbreaker for Gateway especially. I mean, they score a touchdown after the onside kick. You think, okay, a minute remaining. There were 68 seconds remaining after the kickoff, and Hempfield's able to go down the field and score. 17-14, 11 seconds remaining, and they got everyone out wide. I mean,
and Gateway doesn't have a timeout here either.
Mitchell in the backfield. Empty set. He's just going to throw it quickly and trying to lateral this one.
Forward.
They get it over to the right side, who at the end or at the sidelines. It looked forward from our vantage point as well, but
and some of the Hempfield staffers not happy
Another look here. This was the grab right at the 30, and then, yeah, that's forward.
Ooh.
That's forward right there. You go from the 27 to the 28-yard line there on the lateral.
I mean, the Gateway sidelines looking like they're ready to get off the field.
There's still 1 second remaining here in this one. I mean, are they going to try it again? Mitchell in the back, or in the take and the give up the middle. Can they do anything with it? No, they can't. Gateway taken down. Julian Dansier hauled down in that one. In an interesting first half. We've seen a lot of different things here in this one between Hempfield and Gateway. 17-14. Gateway leading in this one. And Nate, let's talk about this first half. You know, we saw a pick six, we saw a fumble rooski, we saw an onside kick recovery.
Saw everything.
We saw a lot, but what did you see in this first half for both of these sides?
Yeah, it was wild and wacky. I mean, Hempfield's defense played rather well. I mean, you really, it's only 2 plays for Hempfield's defense that you allowed to Moorfield here, as you see on your screen, just the blazing speed and then a wide open touchdown. He gets through that single coverage on the throw from Mitchell for about 30 yards. But Hempfield's D has played rather well. I mean, you got a handful of turnovers. However, it's been the offense has not necessarily capitalized and taken advantage with some points. The pick six, obviously big, that puts you on the board. And then it was that late touchdown to end the half. But Hempfield's defense been good. The offense has not held up maybe their end of the bargain as much as you'd like for the Spartans so far.
And we saw a couple turnovers on downs, and you know, Gateway was raving about their defense and what they had done last game against Latrobe, not allowing the Wildcats to score on the Wildcats offense, and then they didn't allow anything against Hempfield for a while there until that last drive. That's a big drive, I think, for both Hempfield and Gateway to end this half.
It is, and that's been the thing for Gateway this year. It's been so much momentum back and forth. You might have a good start first 2 quarters, and then things change, unravel, even good 3 quarters. So Gateway has to go in the locker room and make some adjustments and just continue to put their foot on the pedal here going into the second half.
Woodland Hills is leading against Kiski. Armstrong is also leading against Franklin Regional. So this game means a lot more to Gateway than it does Hempfield, but it also just means a lot more for Gateway in general. It's really a must-win here, I think, as we kind of see it here before going into half. It's a must-win for Gateway now. You know what the situation is holding in your own head. You got to win to show the committee that you can make in the WPIAL playoffs.
Absolutely, and as we talked, I mean, Hempfield, don't look at the record because they still have a solid team. So a Gateway win here would be huge regardless.
Senior day here for Hempfield. We will step aside ourselves. It's halftime between Hempfield and Gateway, 17-14. The Gators up on the Spartans, as we'll have the Gateway Marching Band on the field now for the Gators here on Gateway Gators Productions.
The band is led onto the field tonight by drum majors Joseph Holdren, Mackenzie Dillon, and Anna Paterno. The band is proud to present their 2025 field show, Summer of Love, music from the summer of 1967. Our first selection will be a medley of the familiar tunes, War and Sound of Silence. Our second song will celebrate the capital of the hippie movement, San Francisco. Leading to our finale, our call for peace, hope, and love. Let the sunshine in. And now, the pride of Hempfield, the Spartans Marching Band.
17-14 after one half of play between the Hempfield Spartans and the Gateway Gators. Thank you for tuning in here on Gateway Gators Productions. Alongside of me, Nathan Breisinger, I'm Spencer Witt. And real quick, before we mention anything, Hempfield and Gateway, the marching bands playing at halftime, both fantastic marching bands. I just want to give them a lot of credit as well. So,
absolutely, and great way also to end this regular season finale.
So 17-14 at halftime. A interesting first half between both sides, and Nate, we were talking at halftime some interesting stats between the sides as well, and the offense for Hempfield really never got started until the end there. It was a big drive to end that first half, scoring that touchdown for the Spartans. It was Simmons who caught a 42-yard pass there to give Hempfield, I kind of consider it a little bit of life at the end of that first half.
Yeah, now you get the ball back here, but the big play there was from Dom Dietrich to keep that play alive. The escapability, like he was dead to rights there, almost brought down by the Gateway defensive line, and then for him to get out of that, but then still able to find someone open, and for Simmons to break open there and continue playing as well, because it feels like maybe Gateway's secondary kind of quit on this play right here when you think Dietrich's going down and he stays up. Just unbelievable all-around play from Hempfield. Leads to that touchdown, but that first half all pretty much determined on splash plays. You look at sort of, the timeline of events, all big touchdowns.
Kickoff here for Gateway, and Jackson Mikulandrich will kick things off. Mentioned before at halftime, the Franklin Regional Panthers are losing right now to Armstrong. The Riverhawks up 14-0. Kiski losing to Woodland Hills right now, 14-0 as well. So both outcomes are not in favor of the Gators right now, as this Mikulandrich kickoff will go to the sidelines, and it'll go out of the sidelines. So I believe we'll have a better kickoff here, or a better field position, I should say, for Hempfield.
Yeah, it took a second for that call to come out, but no, this is one thing in this half. Both teams would like to eliminate some of these penalty mistakes. We looked at the numbers, only 7 total, but it felt like there was more.
Was about to mention any numbers that you saw there in terms of stats that really caught your attention.
Yeah, I mean, the penalties, 7 total, but you look at the 3rd and 4th down numbers, I think, for both of these teams. Gateway 1 of 7 on 3rd down. Hempfield 2 of 7, but 0 for 3 on 4th downs. I memean, Hempfield's offense is really, I mean, it's been one big explosive play in the pick 6. I mean, pretty much what this entire game has been. Kopis, 30-yard interception, return for a touchdown. Moorfield, a big 73-yard run for a touchdown. Then he added the 30-yard reception, and then you had the Simmons, that play there at the end of the half for 42 yards.
This is Steinbeiser here, who's kept pushing forward, got several more yards, and first down there for Steinbeiser.
And you also you asked about some of those stats. Dietrich, 5 of 10 for 99 yards, 5 completions all to different receivers. So not one singular receiver really standing out. And we talked about Kopis, very close to breaking the school record in terms of receptions. He has 1, though, on the night.
A catch there for Kopis, speaking up, but he fumbles the ball. That one picked up by Gateway. Roberson Louis June, the big fella running down the field. Touchdown! The senior gets the touchdown for the Gators on the fumble recovery. Hempfield thinks he was down, but Roberson Louis June picking it up. Another look at it here.
Again, we were talking about Kopis first half, and then he caught a pass, and here he is again. That ball on the turf. Wendell Hall able to dislodge that ball, and then the big man rumbling down the sideline, the 6-foot, 280-pounder. Getting to the end zone.
You could tell how big his eyes were when he was running down that field because he knew it was just him in the end zone there. So a touchdown for the Gators. The referees are talking things over real quick, though. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Gateway after the play, so the touchdown is good. I think the Gators sideline came onto the field. I don't think they necessarily were allowed to go past the intended section that they're given. Mikulanjic will be on for the extra point. Extra point attempt is good. So after a nice run from Steinbeiser and the catch from Kopis, like you mentioned, but it was Wendell Hall forcing the fumble, and Roberson Louis June picking this one up and able to run down the field for the touchdown. Not too often we're going through our scoring summaries and I get to write down a lineman on a touchdown there, but 24-14, and our producer and normal play-by-play guy Adam Gusky, former lineman himself, of course, be happy for a lineman touchdown.
And that trend, that theme of these big splash plays continues right here out of the jump in this second half. More defensive touchdowns between these two teams.
Here's an interesting stat. 2 fumbles on the first 2 plays of the first drive of each half, or the second play, I should say, of the first drive of each half. I know that sounded weird out of my mouth, but had a strip sack that was recovered by Hempfield's second play into the game, and then the second play into the second half here. It's a fumble recovery taken for a touchdown by the Gators.
And you know what the difference, though, between those two fumbles? Hempfield not able to score. Gateway takes that one for a touchdown, and that score difference by 10 points.
I was about to say the weight difference of the two people that picked it up were also a big difference.
Also, but no, I mean, you don't score there for Hempfield off that first, turnover. Can't capitalize. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of this game, will that really matter that much? Maybe not, but still. And here you go to start the second half. Hempfield had the opportunity, as we talked about, to double up on points. They score there at the end of the first half, have a chance, got that big run to start the drive, felt good about yourself, probably feeling good in the locker room where you are, in this game, only down by 3 points, and now all of a sudden things are flipped on its head.
Yeah, the momentum has just deflated for Hempfield, but they're not out of it, of course, yet. This Hempfield team, they won 41-21 last year against Gateway. They scored 41 unanswered. Gateway was up 21-0 back in 2024, but Hempfield took the victory in that one. It's up the middle! It's 25 again. Aiden Steinbeiser. Steinbeiser going for the end zone. Touchdown. This time he gets into the end zone. This time he doesn't throw the ball into the air, but this time Hempfield gets the touchdown.
That's what I was curious about. Is Steinbeiser going to be able to have that speed to get all the way home for the touchdown this time and not get tackled short? Because Carlos Diggs was flying here trying to get him. But great cut there right at the line, able to take off. And then there's Diggs, that safety trying to get there down to the 10. But Steinbeiser able to get it in for the long touchdown. Here we go again, and just another lengthy score.
Aiden Steinbeiser, the senior for Hempfield. This Hempfield team trying to get a victory on senior night. 12 seniors were nominated, or I should say were honored prior to this one. And of course the band and cheerleading team also honored. You see there the touchdown for Steinbeiser. I believe it was a 59-yard touchdown for Steinbeiser.
That's what I'm adding up right now. We talked about it just like 2 minutes ago about these scores and the lengths of these scores. You look, 30-yard interception, 73-yard touchdown run by Moorfield, and a 30-yard reception by Moorfield as well. Then Simmons for Hempfield, 42-yard touchdown reception at the end of that first half. And then Louis June, that was about a 53, 54-yarder. Don't have the exact numbers on that fumble recovery. And then there's 59 yards from Steinbeiser.
Kickoff here for Hempfield. Taken by Gateway, up the right side, cutting it back. Still on his feet. Nasir Diggs, and Diggs gets still going to the 40-yard line almost for Nasir Diggs. Boy, every play it seems like has just been interesting so far in this second half. Another look at the return here for Diggs. Good blocks from his teammates. Teron Gans had a really good block there you saw on your screen. And you see Diggs just keep moving, keeping the legs moving. Actually bounced off of those tackles, and he's lucky, or I should say Hempfield is lucky Riley Evans was there to still push him down. So Gateway now on offense. Good field position. They're already on Hempfield's side of the field at the 42-yard line. First down, a pass play, and over the head of the intended target for Gateway, Tyree Gowder. Incomplete pass there.
Yeah, just, similar plays to what Gateway has found success in. Just that quick play action, a low post or slant over the middle. Often it's Moorfield. Now looking for Gowder there.
Gowder, a senior himself for the Gators. 24-21 Gateway. They give up the middle. Nothing doing there on that one. Maybe a yard for Julian Dancier. Another look at it here for Julian Dancier.
Yeah, Dancier met quickly in the gap. Brock Heisler getting off his block and able to cut in for the stop.
That one throwing it down the field. Caught for Gateway. Tyree Gowder, touchdown. Over the top. There was no coverage, one-on-one, and Gowder beat his man. And a touchdown for the Gators as they respond just as quickly.
Yeah, great response here. Again, the play fake, and then you got Gowder able to get the step. Just a little rainbow pass there from Mitchell there. And what a perfect ball, because it was there to keep him in stride just enough. It didn't put him ahead too far. Didn't slow him up either. So great ball from Mitchell, just looped it right over that DB.
Extra point attempt is good. He beat the DB Terrence Vaughns on the one-on-one. Gowder did. And a touchdown for Gateway, 31-21. We're maybe a handful of minutes here in this second half. Another look here.
We saw a little bit of a grab there too by Vaughns, but Gowder able to fight through and get that couple yards of separation. And we talked about at the open of the broadcast, these two teams just playing these high scoring games, averaging around 71 points over these last 3 meetings since they've met over the past couple of years. And here we go again. I mean, getting it in a little bit closer to that number. Right now, 52 combined points. And we talked about, Spencer, you mentioned last year, Hempfield coming away with the win with, running away with that one late in that game. But the 2 years prior, it was Gateway, 60 points in both of those games.
Short kick there just to see if they could get a friendly fingertip roll, but pulled down by the Spartans. A 41-yard touchdown there for Gateway. And for Tyree Gowder, make it 31-21. It was 17-14 at halftime. I mean, it's only a handful of minutes here into this third quarter. We're already at a combined 52 points here. And you have to expect more from both of these sides. As this one caught for Kopis. Kopis cuts to the right side, gets some extra yardage there to first down.
Kopis working on Carlos Diggs there in the slot. Diggs the one that comes in to make the play, the main commit. So he's Division I bound as well.
You mentioned Kopis is a handful of catches short. That's his, I believe, third catch of the evening.
Yeah, came into this game 5 away from tying the school record. I believe set back in 2017. And 6 away from breaking it.
The run up the middle, juking one defender in the backfield, was Steinbeiser. Taken down, though, just a handful of yards there, 2 to be exact, as the Gators now on Hempfield 35-yard line. Dominic Dietrich getting the call from the sidelines here. Dietrich looks to his right, one-on-one, over the head of his intended target there. Lucas Simmons, 6'4", Lucas Simmons. Got the height, definitely, to get up and get that one, but just a little too high.
Yeah, nice target there for Dietrich, but Ian Woods in coverage here for Gateway and does a good job. Keeps his eyes on the quarterback as he's going downfield step for step with Simmons, and that ball just a little too high for the tall target.
3rd and 8 now on the 35-yard line still. Gators stack the box. Show pressure, showing the blitz. They do have the blitz, and down the quarterback goes. Just getting back to the line of scrimmage. Wendell Hall, the first one to get credit for it on that one. Him and Roberson, Louis June over there. Casey Carter also there as well.
Yeah, Hall in there in a hurry. Thought maybe Dietrich could have swung it out to Steinbeiser, who ran out in the flat there. And Moorfield, I believe, from the safety position, had to come running down and try to take that away. But Steinbeiser catches that, and you might have at least 5 yards of a pickup there. Instead, you're dropped for no gain.
4th down now. Hempfield was 0 for 3 on 4th downs in the first half. They're trying to get Gateway to go off sides. Are they going to snap this one? 2 seconds remaining. They will snap it. Pressure from the right side. Down the quarterback goes. Wendell Hall on the sack and the turnover on downs.
Wow, Wendell Hall is having himself an evening for the Gators. He's feasting in the backfield here in Dietrich. I mean, all sorts of confusion there. I mean, yeah, it seemed like maybe they were trying to get them to go off sides, and you get that snap at the last second, and there was really nothing there at all for Hempfield and Hall. Not sure how he gets in there so untouched.
Aiden Steinbeiser has had a phenomenal game for Hempfield, but he missed his block right there. It was Hall who came out the outside there. Another look on your screen. Steinbeiser kind of cuts up, and he doesn't see Hall come sprinting in. Doesn't get enough time to get over there. And that was the difference for the turnover on down. So now Gateway takes over on their own 44-yard line.
And now you expect Gateway to still push the envelope a little bit here, but and it's still a lot of time left. But maybe, you could go to the ground a little bit more and just take some time away and get some chunk yards and try to get some points up on the board here with taking time off the clock.
That one incomplete, intended for Jaden Stammer. A couple players over there for Hempfield in the general vicinity. Second down now. As we get a little bit of a breather, it felt like, after the back and forth touchdowns from both of these sides.
I mean, 3 scores in the first 3 minutes?
Yeah, not even. It felt like it's the right side for Gateway, and nothing doing there. Maybe a yard or a loss of that one for Julian Dansier, but a flag on the play. It looks like it's a holding against the offense. So holding on the offense. They'll actually replay it down. They will accept the call and move things back a little bit here.
Dansier's been so good at, as we talked, picking up about 5 yards per carry on the season so far, but Hempfield, those linebackers coming down to make the play there. Now backing Gateway up even further.
2nd and 20 on the 34-yard line. Mitchell looks to his left. Couldn't get that ball to Jaden Stammer. Had a little pressure in the backfield. Had to roll out to his left. And 3rd and 20 now.
Felt like at this point maybe just throwing the ball away just in the vicinity to just get that ball up the field. Because he felt that pressure, a little bit off balance, trying to throw back across his body there.
Yeah, threw it to the open field per se, where there were no blue jerseys in the vicinity. The problem was Stammer was running one way, and he didn't have enough time to cut back and get to that one. So 3rd and 20 now. 10-point game between Gateway and Hempfield.
And the one thing, thinking of that play, we haven't seen Mason Mitchell run too much in this game at all. And we know he can run a little bit and create with his legs, so...
Mitchell looks to the left side. That one is almost caught. Perfect timing on the coverage for Lucas Simmons, intended for Sean Moorfield Jr. S.J. Moorfield almost able to haul this one in. It's a really good ball. But 4th down now, and punting unit will be out for the Gators.
Thought for a moment that Moorfield did bring that in.
Yeah, it looked like it from our side.
Lippman, the one trailing him, but then, as you said, Simmons, really nice help over the top, coming in and just dislodging the ball with the pass breakup. Those two converging for the Spartans.
Nicolandris will be back to punt this one away for the Gators. Right-footed punt, hoping for a good bounce, and that's exactly what they'll get. It'll bounce towards Hempfield a little more, and it'll be at the 37-yard line for Hempfield. So the Spartans out there for Hempfield. Back on offense after the not able to convert on 4th down again. They're 0 for 4 on 4th downs here in this one.
And at this point for Hempfield, you just don't even want to put yourself in that position. Just 1st, 2nd down, continuing to move the chains. Haven't had much success at doing that a whole lot either.
The give up the middle, but nothing doing on that one for Steinbeiser. The loss of 1 yard now at the 36-yard line. 2nd and 11. Steinbeiser in the backfield for Hempfield. Dom Dietrich. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. In the shotgun for Dietrich. Gateway showed blitz, but they back off. They get pressure up, though. Dietrich running for his life. This one thrown and almost caught, but a great defensive play. Ian Woods for Gateway. Able to get a hand in there before it's caught.
Ian Woods, we haven't really talked about a whole lot, but how about this play to close quickly on this gap? Look at him flying from out of your screen and in quickly to come up with that pass breakup.
You see Dietrich scrambling again for Hempfield. Gateway has not been able to make the pocket nice and quiet back there. 3rd and 11. This one caught. Crossing upfield to the 40, to the 35, and pulled down. It's Aiden Steinbeiser again for the Spartans.
Just a quick out here. Quick check down out of the backfield. A little wheel route. He's open. There's Jackson Smith. Can't come up with the stop. And there he is, off and running for another big gain.
It's a really, really nice move. There's a flag here late on this one.
About a 31-yard pickup there for Steinbeiser. See if it holds up.
This might be at the end of the play here. It's a personal foul on 25. That's the man who just caught that one, Aiden Steinbeiser. That's his 2nd here in this one. Another look here. This is Steinbeiser. Just kind of roll this for a little bit here to see exactly what he did.
Don't get to see it there, but just, again, you pick up those big yardage, maybe just getting a little overly excited. But if you're not in the end zone, you can't afford to do that, putting yourself back after a big play.
Now at midfield to the 50-yard line for Hempfield. It is a 1st down, though. 1st and 25. Is this one thrown? And it is caught. Hauled in for the grab. Pulling that one down. A nice grab from Jack Kopis. Kopis goes up there and pulls it down. And a big 1st down here for Hempfield.
Yeah, Kopis had to climb the ladder on this one. Dietrich just trying to put it over top of Nazir Diggs. Perfect ball. Only where Kopis could go up and get it. And comes down with it.
1st and 10 now for the Spartans on the 22-yard line. Trying to respond with a score of their own. Nothing doing there for Steinbeiser. Senna Agbazi was over there for the tackle. I mean, Dylan Graham.
Fans wanting maybe a penalty there. Agbazi stepping over Steinbeiser.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessarily a penalty. I think he was intending to get out of the way. I think Steinbeiser just kind of caught up with him.
Yeah, just the two twisted together there. Just trying to get back to the respective sides.
I think the right no call there, but 2nd and 10 now for Hempfield. Corner of the end zone, just out of the reach of the intended target. And was that Steinbeiser again? No, it was not Steinbeiser. This time it was a different target for Hempfield. 29, I believe, was the intended target, Deron Hunter.
Yeah, usually you see Hunter in the return game for Hempfield, but they're wide open. Man, that's a big miss there. You have to find a way to come up with some yards here, maybe get the first down, or maybe another look at the end zone, but you'd love to have that one back if you're Dietrich.
Dietrich, the give to Steinbeiner on third down here. Steinbeiner cuts it upfield, gets the extra yardage, and gets the first down. Nice run there from Steinbeiner to move the chains.
Yeah, that's a tough run there from Steinbeiner. Little cut, almost like a counter play there to get back to the left side. Bounces out and then trucks through a couple defenders there for those extra yards.
First down for Steinbeiner and the Spartans. Him in the backfield. Dietrich in the shotgun. Bunch formation here. Dietrich rolls out to his left, has some pressure on him, just throws it away. Did he get enough to not be intentional grounding? I think he got out of the pocket anyway. He got to the line of scrimmage as well. No flag on this one, and just enough to get there. But nothing doing on that one for Hempfield. No correction, there is an intentional grounding. I thought he had gotten it past the line of scrimmage. I think he just didn't get it past the line of scrimmage there, get out of the pocket.
Yeah, that was a late call. Took them a little bit to talk things over. We talked about it early on in this game, Hempfield dealing with the penalty struggles, and here you go again. Steinbeiner, has that personal foul call, and then you pick up the yardage again there on third down, but now just trying to get that ball off. Oof.
Tough one there for the Spartans. Of course, it's a loss of downs as well, so second down now. The give to Steinbeiner, and he just gets some positive yards here. Now it's third down. Dylan Graham, the one who takes Steinbeiner down. The 3rd and 24 now. 31-21, 3:33 in the third. Alongside of me, Nathan Brysinger, I'm Spencer Witt. Hempfield trying to respond here after the Gateway touchdown. Gowder with a 41-yard catch for the Gators. Rolling out to the right, Dietrich throws this one in the back of the end zone, wide open for the touchdown. It's Jack Kopis. That might have been enough to get him the tie for the program mark as well. And a touchdown for Kopis, and Hempfield responding.
Yeah, Kopis just going to slip through this defense. Gateway playing a little bit of zone here. No one picks him up. Everyone's watching Dietrich, just watching him move out of the pocket there, and that's what catches you there. Kopis, the leading receiver, you can't lose him, and they do. And he was wide open, waving his arms, and you see Ian Woods turn around there and go, oh shoot, this guy's wide open. Complete breakdown in coverage for the Gators defense.
Extra point attempt is good for Sawyer Luthold, so a touchdown for Hempfield. Jack Kopis with the catch, and things are definitely interesting here. 31-28. The Spartans responding again. It's senior night for Hempfield. A Spartans team that 4-5. They're only 1-5 in conference, but to get a victory on senior night, you'll always remember a victory on the final game you play high school football, especially for these 12 seniors. Could have a classic one here, especially if things get really down to the wire, make it even more memorable, but we'll have to see here.
Yeah, both of these teams just punching back and forth, never really wavering. I mean, seems like momentum's going one way and then it's right back flipped going the other. But for Gateway, that's a tough touchdown to give up. You have them at 3rd and 24. The perfect spot defensively. Can play, 9 deep basically if you wanted, or 8 deep, and you had them. but you let Kopis slip out there wide open. Now Hempfield only down by 3. All they need is a stop. They could be right back in position to get back in front in this game. Haven't led since that Kopis 30-yard interception to open this game on that second drive.
Riverhawks up big on Franklin Regional 34-7 near the end of the third quarter. So again, we'll talk about it after the end of this quarter, how interesting things will be here. The screen pass, Jaden Stammer. Stammer gets taken down, a couple yards there. Get him to about the 24-yard line.
Just a quick pass there to try to get the ball rolling here on this next drive for Gateway. The run game really hasn't been too much of a factor other than we talked about the big Moorfield touchdown run, a little sneak trick play.
Bad snap there, I should say. Mason Mitchell couldn't hold on to that one. He had a little bit of a low snap. Mitchell just has to dive on it. A little frustrating for the Gators. Mitchell getting the play from the coaching staff. Three wide receivers to the right. They got a tight end, or no, correction, just 3 wide receivers to the right. Tight end right lined up on the left side. Man in motion. Mitchell drops back, throws this one. That's caught at the 25-yard line. Casey Carter with the grab. Haven't heard his name too much in the offense, but he makes a nice grab here. And the only bad news, though, it's 4th down.
Yeah, good enough pickup there that maybe you take a second and think about it, but you're way too far back. And that's just, asking for disaster there on 4th and 4 to think about going for it at this point in the field. So,
yeah, the way things have gone right now.
And you never know, you could come up with a defensive score, as we saw Louis June taking that fumble recovery.
The punt here from Mikkel Andrich. Kind of side punted that one, side swiped down the field. And it's a good punt, though. He's able to flip the field and over to the 45-yard line for the Gators. So now, Hempfield, an opportunity to take the lead here or tie it with at least some points here for the Spartans.
You'd have to imagine this drive starts with Steinbeiser on the ground. But Dietrich, the way he's just been able to keep plays alive and the receivers continuing to give options downfield has been critical for the Spartans.
That one caught downfield at the 40-yard line for the Spartans. Henry Muschler with the grab. Nice little slant route there. Good pickup for the Spartans. There's a flag down, deep ball here for the Spartans. And nothing doing on it, but a flag in the backfield. Hempfield picking up the tempo a little bit there. And the problem was they did take a little bit of a tempo change there, and it was an illegal shift. The intended pass down the field anyway for Hempfield. So 1st and 15 on the 44-yard line for the Spartans. Over to the left side, that one caught. Jack Kopis. Kopis fighting for some more yardage. Trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but gets maybe only a couple there.
Yeah, Hempfield just trying to pick up a little bit of yardage there on that 1st and 15, backed up just a little bit.
Dylan Graham on the tackle. Carlos Diggs also over there. The first person to get an arm on him. 2nd and 14 at the 43-yard line, so only a 1-yard gain there. That one no good on that. Looking for the wheel route for Steinbeiser out of the backfield.
Yeah, trying to hit that same exact play that they hit about 6 or 7 or 8 plays ago. That little wheel route. He was open but a little short on the ball, and Steinbeiser down. Looked like he was hurt, banged up after the play. He's in some pain right now.
Steinbeiser in the middle of the field, though, feeling the pain.
It seemed like he tried to get to the sideline, but just not able to get all the way over.
So Steinbeiser being attended to, and we'll show you real quick. This is the final, of course, regular season football game. On Monday, December 15th, we'll start our winter sports. Have a swim meet against Norwin on the 15th. We'll be on the call of that one. 22nd in December, wrestling versus Avonworth, and then basketball getting going as well. Girls basketball taking on Armstrong on the 23rd, and boys basketball, Albert Gallatin, a doubleheader there against Albert Gallatin and Armstrong for the boys and girls basketball teams. Thank you again for tuning in here. All season long, we'll have broadcasts of as many Gateway sports as we can. Had volleyball and boys and girls soccer earlier this year. We have basketball, of course, the football games all year long, basketball, wrestling, swimming, of lacrosse. Nathan, I believe you've been on the call, lacrosse in the spring.
Yeah, been in a couple of those.
We'll have boys volleyball as well in the spring, as well as girls volleyball in the fall. Take a look at the seniors here for the Spartans, and one of the seniors, Steinbeiser, being helped off the field, and really not something you want to see here if you're Hempfield or just a fan of football in general. The Steinbeiser in his final game here as a Spartan, not putting any pressure on that left leg.
Yeah, that's tough. You lose your starter.
Yeah, and a young man who played so well in this game so far. We hope he can come back, but hope he'll be all right. He's still feeling the pain on the table down there.
Yeah, that means J.M. Landa in there at tailback now for the Spartans.
Landa, a senior himself as well. Is this one thrown? Kind of a duck there and incomplete on 3rd and 14. Now it's 4th down.
Yeah, pressure getting in here. Right from the backside. Might have been tipped there on that back end.
I think it was
very close, and Ian Woods just out of reach for him to maybe come up with an interception.
So 4th and 14 would have been the difference between an arm punt and an actual punt right now. It was a punt here for the Spartans. Carden Littman back to punt. Littman a low one. Gets the friendly roll, very friendly roll for the Spartans. You couldn't get any friendlier. What a punt. Carden Littman, the junior. This is the backup quarterback as well, and a really nice punt there. End of quarter number 3, 31-28. Gateway up in this one, what feels like a must-win game for the Gators to give themselves a little bit of momentum and to give themselves a story here for the WPIAL committee to talk things over and to potentially be that wild card team in WPIAL 5A.
This has been just a fantastic game in terms of, high-scoring affair, different ways of scoring. You got a fumble recovery, you got a pick six, you got several broken coverages that have led to big passing plays. But now Hempfield, to start this 4th quarter, has a chance defensively to come up with a big statement stop.
So the Gators at the 1-yard line. Last week in the 4th quarter, they gave up a safety to Latrobe. Latrobe was actually able to score off the free kick as well on the free punt, I guess you would call it, afterwards. So Gateway no stranger to this situation. Can they get out of their own end zone this time? That one high on the throw. A lot of pressure in the backfield for Mitchell. He's able to get it off in time, though. Intended target, Jaden Stammer, but incomplete.
Yep. Hempfield bringing 7 there. A couple guys untouched off the edge, and Mitchell hitting the turf there.
Saw earlier in the game, Hempfield had a lot of guys getting in the backfield untouched. This is the very last time you want to have that happen if you're the Gators. I believe we'll have a timeout, so Gateway really going to talk things over here.
I mean, this is a major turning, could be a major turning point in this game with that ball on the 1. Like we said, it happened last week, the safety.
It brought Latrobe back into the game. Latrobe was pretty much down and out. They had not scored in that second half. But it brought them back into it in a 4th down last week against Gateway. That the quarterback missed the intended target of a wide receiver who was open, wide open, couldn't get hit to him. That was the big difference between the Wildcats winning that, or potentially winning, or at least tying that one versus Gateway, and also Gateway keeping their postseason hopes alive. It eliminated Latrobe in the section. Talked about before. And Woodland Hills beating Kiski right now, and Armstrong beating Franklin Regional. Things are looking like Gateway needs a statement win here to prove to the committee. And we got a jump here, and a big one against Hempfield. They're going to move this one 5 more yards. A little more breathing room for the Gators now. Another look, and we'll see who the culprit was. Oh, 2 or 3 guys were over there. I'll call out Riley Evans specifically on that one, but actually, correction, I'll call out Jacob Morgan on that one specifically. But
I thought maybe on the previous play that you also saw Hempfield potentially jump off that right side of the line, but they call it this time.
Screen pass to S.J. Moorfield is incomplete. Now, this makes the things really interesting as well. It's a 3rd down now. 3rd and 5 on the 5-yard line. You bring pressure if you're Hempfield. Do you really force something into the hands of the freshman quarterback for the Gators? Mitchell in the backfield. The quick screen to Moorfield. Moorfield's going to get to the 1st down marker. Big 1st down for the Gators. And they'll move the chains.
It's exactly what you wanted there. Just that quick ball. Good blocking. Make sure you're not holding on that edge. You see here the reception. Good block there by, I believe, Casey Carter, number 9. Again, doesn't grip up and doesn't hold him. Good for that 1st down.
Thought Littman, who was the outside linebacker, was going to be able to close in on that a little bit quicker. I think he just didn't want to get burned on the cutback, so it actually helped the Gators and helped Moorfield get to the 1st down. This one thrown over the middle and just off the fingertips of S.J. Moorfield.
Seen a couple of these passes, just a little low from Mitchell. That one a little wobbly ball, but that's in the fingertips of Moorfield. Got to be able to try to come up with that one, take your momentum to the ground and just haul that in. Don't worry about the yards after the catch on that one. Just move the sticks if you're Moorfield.
2nd down now on the 11-yard line for the Gators. Mitchell looks to his left, hauls that one in. And that was Jaden Stammer, and Stammer gets a couple more yards on it as well.
These quick little screens to the outside for Gateway working on the little play fake, because it just feels like right now the Gators have really gone away from the ground game, have not handed the ball off a whole lot in this second half, it's felt like.
Haven't gone in Wildcat in a while either. They had Moorfield and Wildcat for a while, but they stick with Mitchell getting the snaps. They give up the middle. Handful of yards and a first down for Julian Dansier.
Again, Dansier just right up the gut here. Gets a nice hole to open up. And he picks up that first down off that left side of the line.
First and 10. Ball on the 24-yard line for Gateway. Mitchell takes the snap. Another quick one. Out to the outside, Moorfield, and Moorfield gets as many before he gets pushed out of bounds.
Moorfield, a good job here of keeping his footing. Gets his quick pass out to him. Looks like he's going to stumble off the catch right there, but stays up, picks up a couple of extra yards there to make this short and manageable here on second down.
Jaden Stammer got as much of a block as he needed before Moorfield could get to the outside. Second and 3, gain is 7 on this one. The give, and that one going nowhere for Julian Dansier. Braden Gerst was the one who pulled him down.
Gerst, excellent read, able to slip underneath any contact from the Gateway O-line and pulls up Dansier for a tackle for loss. Now after it being second and 3, now it's third and 6 for Gateway. Staring down a little bit of a longer money down for the Gators.
Third and 6, 28-yard line. Mitchell drops back, looks at that one. It's picked off. Intercepted. Henry Muchler jumping the coverage, gets in front of it, and gets a big pick for the Spartans.
I mean, that's exactly what you wanted to avoid if you're Gateway, especially turning it over here on this side of the field. But what an excellent job by Muchler to break on the ball there. Mitchell just left it inside, a little bit too inside there for Moorfield, and then Muchler to come over to snag that one. Pivotal turnover for Gateway.
So Dietrich trying to lead his offense, trying to either tie or take the lead here on the turnover. Quarterback read and kept there for only a couple yards. They'll give him maybe 2.
Haven't really seen much of a straight-up run from Dietrich in this contest so far. Gets just a little bit here on first down.
Dietrich has 240 yards on the ground on 64 carries coming into today. Averages about a little under 4 yards a game. Second and 8 now on the 35-yard line for the Spartans. Dietrich, empty set. Airs this one down the middle, wide open for the touchdown. And this time, Jack Kopis. That's got to be enough for the program record for catches, and he gets a touchdown as well.
I'm not entirely sure what the coverage is here. You bring the corner blitz on the top side there from Nazir Diggs, and you leave 2 receivers with 1 defensive back in the area. I mean, Gateway tried to gamble a little bit there with the blitz, but you leave Kopis and I believe that's Simmons up top of the screen. And you're the DB there, the solo DB, you have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, nothing that S.J. Moorfield could do there. You got 2 guys you got to guard yourself. Good read from Kopis, or excuse me, good read from Dietrich to find him. The extra point attempt from Sawyer Luthold is good. So 35-31. And Hempfield taking the lead after the first time they've had the lead since 7-0.
Yeah, here's the interception. Just a great play from Muchler, and then here it is. I mean, pretty much right off the jump there. Both those receivers are open. And Dietrich, I mean, maybe you take a second there and think, are these guys really this wide open? And there it is. And yeah, as you said, Spencer, I mean, Moorfield, really, what can you do in that scenario?
So Kopis, his second touchdown on the offensive side. He's got 3 touchdowns tonight. He had the pick 6 earlier for the Spartans. Kickoff here will spin into the back of the end zone. And a touchback for Gateway. Now Gateway, got to calm things down a little bit here and just collect yourself. Got plenty of time before you need a score. 8:43 in the fourth.
And it's interesting thinking back to that interception, looking for Moorfield on that out route. We haven't really seen a lot of that much at all in this game, where you're trying to go on that little out route throw. It's been a lot of quick screens and then over the middle on slants. So really just trying to get that ball in there on that sideline, and you leave too much room for error.
Mitchell rolls out to his right. Going to keep it himself, cut back in, sliding, and that should be a penalty. It will be. And now some contact and some extracurriculars from a couple guys here. Jacob Morgan is heated right now for the Spartans. Another flag has been thrown. It's going to be a late hit on Hempfield.
You'd have to think that maybe there could be one also coming in on Gateway there for Kyan and Bandy for coming over and giving another little extra shove too. Maybe trying to protect the quarterback,
yeah,
right?
just kind of standing up for your quarterback.
I mean, that's what you think, exactly. But that was certainly a late hit on Hempfield. I mean, Mitchell gave himself up at least 3-4 seconds prior to that. Smith, I believe, coming in.
So the penalty's offset. It's a penalty on both of them, both Hempfield and Gateway. As we'll run it back again here. Again, this was Mitchell rolling out. And once he gives himself up, Xavier Smith comes in. I know it's not a hard hit, but when he slides down, you really can't touch him like that. You can't go down yourself as well.
Yeah, you got to either jump over him or just try to find a way to get away from that play. And then, as we said, and Bandy came flying in. He didn't level anybody, but came in, gave a bump, and now you offset the penalties.
Mitchell down the middle, almost picked off. Lucas Simmons almost had that ball right to him. It was a little low for him and out of the way of the intended target for Gateway. Was looking for Nasir Diggs. Third and 5 on the 25-yard line for the Gators. Big third down here with 8 minutes remaining. Mitchell steps up, takes a hit, but he was standing up this time, and I think Braden Gerst was a little happier to take that one after the penalty that was given to his team just a couple plays ago, but stops him short as well of the first down. A really nice tackle there from Gerst. And now the punt unit will be out for the Gators. It was on 4th and 1 now. Mikulandrich will be back to punt.
I don't mind that play call either on that third down play. Obviously the pass has not been working as much as you'd like as of late in this game. A couple incompletions and interception. And you got a runner in Mitchell, but now you punt.
Mikulandrich waits a little bit. Once he finally has some pressure, he sends the punt forward. It's a fair catch. At the 43-yard line for the Spartans. As the Gateway Band getting into the groove of things here. The visitor section. Final game of the regular season. Nathan Breisinger and Spencer Witt on the call here, filling in for Adam Geske and Vince Russo here in Hempfield High School, Greensburg, PA, Westmoreland County. About a half an hour to 35-minute drive from Gateway, but that's without traffic in the evening. You're looking at more like 45 to 55 during rush hour of the Friday night, but that one caught and just at the first down marker. Jack Kopus.
Hempfield has really got this offense rolling at the perfect time here. late in this ball game.
And he's the one we haven't really talked about in the first quarter, Jack Kopis, the first half, I should say.
And he's really come alive, and at this point, absolutely, he's broken that reception record in Hempfield history that we've been talking about. But Gateway, they were playing solid defensively early on, have to find a way to come up with a stop.
Bouncing around a little bit there for the rush. Really good to see as well. Steinbeiser back in the game for Hempfield after the injury.
It looks like he didn't miss a step either. Quick cuts, quick feet. Nothing really doing there for him, but yeah, it's good to see him back out there. And Hempfield, at this point, a little content to run off some of this clock here with under 7 minutes to go, about 15 now on the play clock.
Spartans on the 48-yard line of Gateway. To the right side, that one caught by Kopis. Kopis, who was in motion from left to right. Nice grab and goes out of bounds, or gets tackled out of bounds, I should say. Handful of yards there for the Spartans. Third down and 6 now for Hempfield.
Need someone to make a play here for Gateway. Wendell Hall was a name we called a ton early on. He's quieted down a little bit, but
the turnover, the fumble, forced fumble, I should say, on Kopis.
A couple
earlier in
the
the second half. Had a couple tackled for losses, and we got a timeout here. So timeout taken. Talk things over on a 3rd and 6 for Hempfield. So timeout taken, and let's take a look real quick again at the Big East Conference here. So Woodland Hills up on Kiski right now. Penn Trafford, a 4-1 record themselves. They're taking on Latrobe. Kiski, again, taking on Woodland Hills. Armstrong and Franklin Regional squaring off as they, real quick, are congratulating Kopis on his program record. So a loss for Kiski and a win for Gateway doesn't matter right now in sense of conference. Armstrong with a win will bump up over Gateway due to the head-to-head, and we were talking before, that game against Armstrong, the Riverhawks, is going to haunt Gateway, I think, because that'll put the Riverhawks in 4th place. Top 3 make it. There are 3 wild cards for 3 divisions. The question is Gateway deserving of getting it over Bethel Park, North Hills, Penn Hills? Only time will tell. But a victory here would be a good reason to say so, and I feel like as a catch there for Lucas Simmons, I feel like a loss here will really not help them at all. I think it will hurt them more than be neutral.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to have this one, again, in the eyes of the committee, the eyes of the beholder, that determines everything for those 3 final wild card teams. And Armstrong, if they're the 4th team sitting out, obviously they'll probably get in because they have the head-to-head, better schedule overall. And you mentioned that Armstrong loss haunting Gateway. And last year, Gateway came up short and didn't make the playoffs for the first time in the Don Hall era. They didn't make the playoffs. And they had 3 conference losses come by less than 2 points. So these short 1-score, 1-point, 2-point games have haunted Gateway the last 2 years. And now it's going to happen again.
S.J. Moorfield hauling in that fair catch. That was not an easy fair catch there for the Gators. So 5 minutes, plenty of time for both of these teams. A timeout each, or 2 timeouts each, I should say. Timeout taken by each team. 4-point difference. Hempfield up on the Gators. Now the Gators will start at their own 6-yard line here. 35-31. Mitchell in his own end zone, looks to his left. That one is caught, breaking a tackle. Jumping by a different defender as well until the second defender comes up, but a first down and a grab for Jaden Stammer.
And that was a long throw by Mitchell, too. Getting over there, almost jumping it again. Hempfield trying to come up with another interception, but then that leaves Stammer a couple more yards to gain after that catch.
First down for the Gators at the 23-yard line. Mitchell with a man with him as well, the fake, and he's going to air it out. A deep ball, caught for the grab. Tyree Gowder pulls it down, and they go into Hempfield territory.
What a big catch here from Gowder. Mitchell, little bit underthrown here, just trying to get the arm behind it. You see Gowder just looking all the way for it. The defensive back for Hempfield, Ty Humes, staying locked in on Gowder, but he's able to come up with a big catch.
The screen here, and going down at the sidelines, Dan Sear. You were talking about Ty Humes there on that last play. Never looked at that ball. If he looks at it, he might have a chance of hauling in himself. It was a little underthrown, like you said.
Yeah, but a big receiver there. Standing about 5'10", Gowder, maybe not the biggest, but comes up with that grab over top of the defensive back.
Mitchell, the quick to S.J. Moorfield on the left side, looking for some block and some help. Keep moving upfield, breaking through, breaks another tackle. Touchdown. There is, I believe, a flag on the field. Everything is stopped here as the referees are talking it over. What a run, or what a catch and run there from S.J. Moorfield, though.
Yeah, not sure how he escaped through all those blockers. The whole O-line unit just going downfield with him.
So the touchdown counts. It's a face mask against Hempfield. Another look at the touchdown here for Moorfield. And what a run, and what a buzzkill on the flag that doesn't even give Gateway an opportunity to celebrate. Moorfield on the touchdown. The extra point attempt is good, and Gateway back on top.
And if there was anyone to get you back in the end zone, it was Moorfield. And, I was thinking that, you go with some of these safe plays, just quick outs that they've had and they've found success on before. And here you are, just a quick, super quick, only maybe a second with the ball, Mitchell, and he gets it out to Moorfield and through the big boys pushing up front, Louis June and company. And then the seas part a little bit for Moorfield to squeeze out of there and into the end zone for the 35-yard score.
Moorfield's third touchdown of the evening. So a touchdown for Gateway, 38-35. Moorfield getting some time to take a breather over there. He's had himself a game for the Gators. 4 minutes remaining. Gateway did score quick. It does give Hempfield some time to work with here. 4 minutes in the fourth. For 12 of these Spartans, it's their final game in high school football as the kickoff by Mika Landrich goes into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Again, if you're Hempfield, you might be down, but you feel like you've had a lot of momentum offensively speaking. You've been able to move the ball down the field a lot better than you did in the first half.
Yeah, I think you're a lot more comfortable at this point in the game with your offense than you were earlier on, whereas maybe the defense you needed to lean on to come up with some plays. You had the fumble that started this half with Copus putting it on the ground, but now things are really opening up. And then on the flip end, it's been Gateway just not looking good defensively. A lot of breakdowns, a lot of missed assignments. You cannot have those here now with 4:02 in this game.
Dietrich, the give to Steinbeiser, but Steinbeiser's not going to go anywhere with that one. Couple players over there. Dylan Graham and Senna Agbadzi was over there for the Gators.
You saw there Graham holding on for dear life, trying to bring down the ball carrier, showing off some of that strength.
It's a 2-yard loss, and 2nd and 12 now on the 18-yard line for Hempfield. Man in motion. Xavier Smith. Dietrich's going to go air that one down as well, and it's incomplete. Hempfield wants a flag. They're not going to get it. Intended target, Lucas Simmons, and Simmons is going to make an argument that Ian Woods never looked for that ball. Let's see it here on your screen.
I think that's an okay no call. I mean, Woods not looking there, but I didn't feel like it was anything over egregious there. There was contact, but I don't know if that warrants a flag. I mean, that's a big flag if that comes out there at this point in the game.
But they kind of moved his arms more than a grab, and that might have been his safety case there. Not able to say that he didn't grab and cause any interference on it. Empty set now. They roll out the running back. Dietrich gets it off to his man, Steinbeiser. Steinbeiser pushes it through for the first down at the 40-yard line.
It's got to get that Hempfield sideline pumped up after that no call, and then you go right back out of the backfield to Steinbeiser, whose back was banged up just a little bit ago, and he comes up with a critical play.
Correction, that's actually J.M. Landa, excuse me, who was in the backfield on 3rd down there. Steinbeiser has been in the game, but a really nice play there from Landa.
And also for Dietrich just to wait for that play to open up.
Landa's able to haul this one in. Landa past the 1st down marker. 2nd guy up for the Spartans, the backup running back, John Michael Landa, the senior. A 1st down for Hempfield. Able to break off that one tackle there too. Landa listed at 5'9", but a workhorse there in the backfield. Dietrich, almost a dangerous ball there. Ian Woods knew that was coming before it was even snapped, it felt like, and he was able to get over there, but incomplete, too high for his intended target. And that'd be Jack Kopis.
Again, another just long throw across the field to the wide side of the field that gives Ian Woods, who's played pretty good in coverage all night for the most part. I think was in coverage on the Simmons touchdown to end the first half. But other than that, has had a solid night. Good coverage there.
2nd and 10 on the 48-yard line. Dietrich has some pressure, has to step up, throws this one to the right side. It's complete. Cutting back upfield and getting past the secondary. Touchdown, but there's a flag down. Mutchler crosses the end zone, but even he knew that this is going to come back. It's a holding against Hempfield. I won't have to get the call, but this looks like it'll be coming back.
Yeah, another tough break for Hempfield. Again, we talked about their penalty issues in the first half. On the biggest drive of the game, here you go again. You could see this one, I think, pretty clearly where it comes in here. As the play extended here, and you just get it off.
You see there, Mutchler was just kind of standing there. This is going to be top of your screen, like you had said. And that's going to be called for on Troy Sebring. Number 1, the 5'7" junior wide receiver. Another look at it, and you saw Sebring at top of your screen. I think that was the right call, unfortunately, for Hempfield. Dietrich airing this one out towards the end zone. That one not called in. Hempfield, the fans want pass interference.
I think on that previous holding call that we were just looking at, I think there was a little bit of a sell there at the end that obviously helped you get that call across. Now here you go again, another potential pass interference call. This one, I mean, it seemed like Gator was a little bit all over.
Yeah, I thought that would be more of not a makeup call necessarily, but a call that the referees would throw there. But instead, it's just 2nd and 10, under 2 minutes now.
Well, now if you're Hempfield, you got to fight through this adversity here. Try to find some plays here to get to the end zone.
The give for the Spartans. It's Landa, excuse me, and Landa upfield for the first down. That's a good delayed handoff. But we got another flag on the field, and this one's going to be a hold, and you can see it top of your screen there. Someone got thrown down for the Gators. Now the Hempfield fans are really irate on this one.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. I mean, nothing going their way right now with the officials in a crucial moment.
Right there, though, you can see the top of your screen, you see a player for Gateway get thrown down. They're going to call that every time. I know, frustrating for the Spartans and their fan base.
It was a great run, too, by Landa. Little draw play, little delayed handoff, and everything was open there for him to run and gain about 15 yards, but it comes back.
So Landa in the backfield again. Dietrich will have to roll out to his left. Got some pressure on him. Dietrich tries to toss this one over. It's caught by Sebring, and Sebring gets a handful of yards there. Not going to be enough for a first, but a good catch there.
What a play again. I mean, Dietrich has to roll out of the pocket. This is a veteran play for a senior quarterback, just flipping it up and over to Sebring. Excellent play.
Recognizing the line of scrimmage there and just able to roll out right at the last yardage there to flip that one over to Sebring. The give now up the middle. Rolling off of and a horse collar tackle, and that will be a penalty against Gateway. It's Aiden Steinbeiser is back in the game. Steinbeiser's running with a little bit of a limp, and now he's going to go down.
Yeah, just a hard, tough run by Steinbeiser right up the middle, and then he gets dragged down. It felt like the Hempfield faithful here celebrated even as much as it would be a touchdown for that flag finally coming out. And you hear the reaction after the official word.
A little bit of a passive-aggressive applause there from the fans, but you see Steinbeiser. Steinbeiser is, give again more credit, fighting through this injury. He knows this is his last game as a Hempfield Spartan. The injury earlier and just trying to play through it, giving it all on the field here. Again, these 12 seniors for Hempfield try to get a victory, their final game as a Spartan. 52 seconds remaining.
No, it's a very interesting spot if you're Hempfield because there's 52 seconds left. You want to get in the end zone because there's just been so much craziness and chaos with the flags and everything and whatnot. But also you don't want to give too much time for Gateway because we've seen their ability to rip off explosive plays. Too much time could be a good thing for Gateway here on with this yardage.
2 timeouts each. Dietrich the give to Landa, up the middle, touchdown! J.M. Landa for the Spartans. Great blocking up the middle for Hempfield. Credit where credit is due. The offensive line, Patrick Mormon, Jacob Weiderstein, Dom Granada all had really good blocks in the middle. The interior linemen for the Spartans.
A yawning hole for Landa. And man, fighting through it all. Everything that went wrong on that drive. And Hempfield was able to jump back in front by 4. So now Gateway has to go down the field and find the end zone. They can't kick a field goal.
It's Landa's second touchdown of the year for the senior. 48 seconds remaining. One thing to note, Gateway has 2 timeouts. And the extra point was good. But a 4-point difference. Spartans put up 41 points last year to beat Gateway. They got 42 right now, trying to beat the Gators. From a technical standpoint, it won't put Gateway out, but Armstrong was up big on Franklin Regional, and Woodland Hills was up on Kiski. So Armstrong would jump over Gateway. That put Gateway in the 5 spot out of 7 teams in the section. Only 3 wild card spots to choose from, and you have to think one of them would be for Armstrong. This one bobbled at the 4-yard line. by Nasir Diggs, and Diggs gets some yards. He loses the football. Loses the football. Was he down before losing it, or who recovered it anyway?
Looks like Gateway comes up with it.
It was Gateway who came up with it.
DeLuco.
Donovan DeLuca, the senior. DeLuca recovers the fumble. That almost spoiled everything that potentially could happen here for Gateway. Another look at Diggs.
And it's some friendly fire, too. I think he runs in there to who's at 29.
To Ron Gans.
Yeah. Man, everything, came crashing down. Hard stops for a second there. But luckily, now you have a shot here. 2 timeouts, 40 seconds to go. Don't got to force it all on 1 or 2 plays here either.
Mason Mitchell. Mitchell will drop back. Looks down the middle. That one off the fingertips. Nasir Diggs. That's a catchable ball for Diggs. But incomplete.
Thought maybe also a little bit of a, jump there by the defense. Nothing called there. But yeah, Diggs off the hand. Recently picked up an Akron offer. So he's going to be a big-time player for this Gateway team over the next couple years. But right now it's about pulling that one in, and he doesn't there.
Mitchell, the fake and the keep, rolls out to his right. Throwing this one. That one is caught. Is he out of bounds or inbounds? Referees discussing things. And they're in agreement. It's a catch.
Wow. Gowder again.
Tyree Gowder.
Sort of, just a quick hitch play here. Stops up, not even moving. Then finally, he breaks out again, but not a great ball for Mitchell, but he still goes up and grabs it.
It's a tough ball for Mitchell there on the run. He's not able to just get enough on it. Kind of off his back foot. But give credit again to Gowder. He's able to go up and get that one. Had the pressure on him, and also a pretty late hit from Brock Heisler.
Drove him into the turf.
Taken down, though, in the backfield. It's Heisler again. But do we have a timeout, I believe, for Gateway? So a timeout. Have to take a timeout there with 18 seconds remaining.
Yeah, pressure got in quickly from the Hempfield defensive line, and Mitchell just got to find a way to get that ball out. Holding on to it just a little too long. Didn't seem like anything was open either.
42-38 Hempfield. Spartans started the year with a 4-2 record. They're 4-5 since, so 3 straight losses. Had a rough game against Seneca Valley last week. We're looking for a victory on Senior Day, and the crowd will be in it here. 2nd and 16 on the 39-yard line. 18 seconds remaining. Mitchell drops back. Mitchell rolls out. There's a penalty down. Mitchell will get as many yards as he can before going out of bounds, but looks like this might be a holding. We'll have to see what the call is against this one. Nine seconds remaining. And it is a hold against the offense. They only rush 3. One gets away, another one gets held for the Gators and the Spartans. That pushes the Gators even farther back now. They're at the 29-yard line with 9 seconds remaining. Final timeout taken by the Gators. They need a Spartan Stadium miracle right now.
We've seen it from Warfield, where you don't think he's going to pick up the yardage, and he does. He's slipped through on that most recent Gateway touchdown, but at this point you're stacked up way behind at 2nd and 16, or 26 rather, now with that extra penalty yardage. So Hempfield just going to sit back, play 3 cover, 3 high safety look. Probably only going to bring 3 or 4.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Hempfield took that timeout. So the Spartans taking the timeout. Gateway still with 1 timeout. So apologies on that one. Does give time to call a timeout if you get some yardage, but you need a lot here. And I don't know if you got enough time to get another playoff, depending on how far down the field you go. Mitchell drops back. It's a quick one to Moorfield. Moorfield's going to cut over to the left side. Clock ticking in 4 seconds. He gets out with 3 remaining.
Well, that's the best you could hope for on that play, just to get back a lot of that yardage from the penalties. Now you're down to your final play here, and it's either you try to take a shot to the end zone, which I just don't think obviously Mitchell has the arm strength of it, or you give it quick and you try some laterals, try a quick pitch like we saw at the end of the first half.
At the 45-yard line, Hempfield's got 5 guys in their own 30-yard line. They barely rush 3. Mitchell will air this one out down the field. It's incomplete, and it's over. And the Spartans on senior night get the victory over the Gators, 42-38. And Hempfield goes home with a victory. The team from Greensburg and the team from Monroeville will go back on the buses and have to feel like their postseason dreams might have been dashed here in a non-conference matchup in a game that at the beginning of this season you felt like might not even have mattered. And at the end of it, with how things have gone for the Gators, became so important.
Yeah, this is a tough one to lose if you're Gateway. But the good thing is, you kept it close. You put up a really good fight against a solid 6A team. Obviously not a team that's going to head to the postseason, but still a really good opponent, good matchup here, and better showing compared to the 6A matchup they had earlier this year against North Allegheny. But it's just probably not going to be enough for the committee to look at them and say, hey, you're going to have a shot to get in here, especially with how good 5A really is from top to bottom in each section.
Armstrong did defeat Franklin Regional, so they'll jump up over Gateway in the standings. That puts Gateway in the 5 spot in the Allegheny 6 conference, in the Big East conference. So the question now is Gateway a team that deserves that potentially final spot? You figure if everything stays the way it is, the top 3 make it of each section. Bethel Park's got to make it. That's a dangerous section out there. They're going to be the 4 seed. Armstrong, you feel like, should make it as well because of their victories. And they're one of the hotter teams right now in the Big East especially. And then now you're down to one other team. Do you give it to Penn Hills or North Hills, depending on how that one matched up? Or do you give it to South Fayette, who is also sitting in that 5 spot? Or do you give it to Gateway? And right now, it's not feeling like it should be a Gators team that should be getting it, but you never know what the committee will say.
Yeah, I think for Gateway, they just left too much on the table this year. They had that 3-game losing streak right in the middle of conference play. You lose to Armstrong, who obviously jumps you and most likely gets in now as the 4th team out of the Big East. And in this game specifically, you had a chance. So many big plays offensively for you. You had a big fumble recovery by Louis June to start this second half, and then you just couldn't carry it forward. It was 31-21 at one point, and then Hempfield fought back. It
was crazy the amount we saw in the first half of just chaotic things. We saw fumble Ruski, we pick 6, strip sack, fumble recovery for a touchdown as well. We saw, an onside kick that was recovered. We saw a lot, but then the offense for Hempfield, give them a lot of credit. They picked it up in the second half, and they looked like the better team of the 2 teams in that second half.
Yeah, it was all Hempfield's defense taking advantage in the first half with a couple of turnovers in the first couple of drives, but Kopis got really involved late there. Steinbeiser fighting through some injuries, really involved in Landau with the big game-winning touchdown there at the end. So it really was a joint effort there from Hempfield at the end.
And real quick, Nathan, final thoughts just on this season for the Gators.
Yeah, it's been a tough season again. We talked about, looking at last year's team, a couple of 1-2 point losses. Here it is again where you have a couple losses by a score that they're going to look back and wish they had, and now you're looking at potentially 2 straight seasons now that you don't make the postseason for Gateway.
So that will be it here for this broadcast and for this entire regular season of 2025 Gateway Gators football. For our entire broadcasting crew, for my color commentator Nathan Breisiger, I'm Spencer with the Baldwin Boys, filling in for Adam Gusky and Vince Russo. Thank you, Adam, again for letting us do this game. And for our producer, Lee Schaefer, and the Schaefer and Gusky family, I'm Spencer Witt, saying so long and thank you for tuning in. Final score, the Hempfield Spartans defeat the Gateway Gators 42-38 in the final regular season game. Good night, everybody.